I hope Sony are happy. They should encourage. You know, we've only been radio, you know, a couple of years.
Exactly. They should encourage young talent like you.
Yeah. Instead of giving it to Radio 1 and Radio 2 and...
The old war horses. We just had a quick email. I wonder if you could answer this. It's James from NW1. He says, Ricky, is Karl going to be on this week's show? Please let me know, as I may listen if he's not. Sadly, he is here. I mean, people are already turning against you, Karl, because they've seen what's happened.
Yeah.
I think they've probably realised that
I think we gave him too much. I think we've got a spoiled sort of kid in our hands. It's sort of like, you know, we knew how bad he was, but we were trying to sort of bring him out of his shell a little bit.
Yeah.
You got to encourage sort of, children like Karl.
Well, yeah, exactly.
To sort of fend for themselves. I like the fact that Dickie Anderson had that wonderful rant. I mean, it was an articulate email. It was quite long, and he must have typed it immediately. I'm thinking, because he's a fan of the show and he thinks I'm a genius, we need a PA.
Sure.
Don't we?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you reckon he'd come and work for us?
Well, he can't be any worse than what we've already got.
I know.
You know.
So, there you go then, we're giving up radio. We're gonna concentrate on television. Karl's gonna probably go back to what, your little... just doing your sound?
The thing I won a silver for at the Sony's. Funny that, isn't it?
Oh, you won a silver, did you?
I got a silver, yeah.
Oh, yeah, what was that
for doing the proper job that I do here in the week.
Well, no, there's 2 of you for a start.
Yeah. Well, there's 3 of us. Couldn't even get a bronze. Now, who's the weak link? Right?
Well...
Bit weird, isn't it?
Let's not argue. We haven't got many shows to do.
To be fair though, this show is I think it's more to do with the fact that you talk on this show that has brought us down.
Right, I haven't said anything hardly today.
No, well this is an award-winning show, potentially.
We'll add this one into next year.
If you could just keep stum, we might have a chance.
Alright.
Well, coming up, right.
Let's put it behind us.
Okay.
How did you meet your girlfriend?
Through work.
What, through her work? What, you found out and said you...
worked at the same place.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
You're quite an enigma, aren't you? Could you give us more on that?
At work. You met her at work. What, she came in selling sandwiches? She was going through the bins outside. What do you mean you met her at work?
Why are you having an attack on me? You're the one who's sad and lonely.
Oh, he's done you again! He's done you again!
But what I thought was interesting was I just scratched at him and he just went mental.
Yeah, no,
it's like a bear caught in a trap.
It's funny, isn't it? You'll never learn.
No, I was just interested to find out what the story was, because it might be a really romantic story.
Well, it's not.
Alright, jeez. I mean, the fact he doesn't want to talk about his love affair.
I was thinking about you in the week, and like... Does it worry you? I mean, you sort of joke about it now, and we're talking about it in the office, you know, like, oh, is Steve really touchy about the way he looks? And,
oh, what's this? Where's that come from?
He's done it again. He's done you again.
I was walking home the other night, and I was thinking about it. And do you worry that when you're old, you will be on your own?
You did start it, though, didn't you?
Well, Karl, I'm glad you brought this up. Because I mean, for me, you know, a lightweight, frothy entertainment show on XFM on a Saturday afternoon is exactly the place where I want to discuss the desperate, lonely future that's inevitably coming my way.
Oh, God. I'll tell you what will cheer you up and forget all that. A bit of embrace.
Oh.
This isn't
broadcasting
though, is it? This is nothing. Come up with something.
Well, the fat baby then, the fat baby that they found, that was on the telly.
Right, well, what was that?
It's just a little fat baby. That, I don't know what, it's just a little fat kid and that.
What? Tell what?
It was on the telly, it was on the telly and
But what was on the telly? You just said fat baby, fat baby, fat baby, fat baby on telly, fat baby on telly. You're meant to be telling them what's happened in the world. Tell me about the fat baby on telly.
It's just they've found some, there's this illness called Momo, right? And, they've just got this woman had a kid. It's really sad, it was on Channel 4 and that, right? And, kid's born.
You sure it wasn't Jimmy Carr?
Kid's born and that, right?
Momo?
It's called Momo,
Isn't that
yeah.
that Black Music Award?
No, right, little fat baby and that, and, there's only 3 of them in the world. These little fat babies.
Right.
And,
so
one of them...
they're in danger.
How fat? Are you not telling what do you mean? How fat are they?
6 stone it was only 2. And, there's 3 of them in the world, and there was this one, and there was one in Brazil.
Are they, like, endangered?
Is that the problem? Because there's only 3 of them in the world. Are we worried? Is it like a conservation campaign?
Hunted for their flesh.
No, it's sad. If you, I know it's easy to joke on that, but if you've seen it, you'd go, oh, it's a bit sad on that.
Well, I haven't seen it, and I know nothing about it.
Well, I've told you, there's 3 of them in the world. I mean, when you've been saying I've got a round head, I was a bit like, yeah, everyone has. Stop having a go.
Yeah.
And then I saw this picture last week. I thought, God, he's right.
Can't we just pop it on the XOM website?
I'd rather not.
Oh, go on, just get someone.
Have you seen that man in a jar without a brain?
Sorry, is that something? Is that a product you can buy? In like Sainsbury's?
Is it a dream you had yesterday?
Man in
You
a
wondered
jar.
if you could. Can I? Yes, hello. Could you make my dream into reality, please? Oh, we can't actually, sir. In plastic would be good.
Sorry, what do you mean?
In the future, you'll be able to download your dreams and then just like act them out again, probably in the year 2000 or something.
Soothsayer.
No, there's some museum somewhere
Yeah.
that's got this little fella who was born without a brain, and he's in a jar, and it's just that he's got a really round head.
Right.
And when I saw this picture, I thought, God, it just reminded me of this little fella in
Yeah.
a jar.
Oh, and what do you mean he's born without a brain?
He was born without a brain.
So it's a baby.
It's not a little fella.
Yeah, but it's weird.
Do you know the difference? Do you have conversations with like people in prams thinking that fella's little and he doesn't talk much?
Yeah.
You know, babies aren't like little people.
Well, maybe...
Well, they are little people, but I mean, they're not very small adults. They're not like midgets.
They don't do a job of work, is what we're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, you're very, no. What do you
I
mean?
didn't read about it, I just saw the picture. And
This
it
is
looked
where
like
you're
a
going
man.
wrong, Carl. This is always your mistake. You see the picture, you don't read the little caption.
But what do you mean? How do you
You
think-
guess at what you think the meaning
But how
is.
did you know he didn't have a brain?
He said something like the brainless man.
Yeah, but people say that about you. It doesn't mean you literally you haven't
No,
got a
no.
spinal cord.
I bet somebody's seen it and knows what I mean. It's a famous picture. It's
Right,
like-
call in 08700 800 1234. Once again, you win a prize if you can tell us what Karl is talking about. Just in general. It's an ongoing competition. We're trying to find some CDs to anyone who knows what Karl is talking about. Well, we've had calls confirming that there was indeed, a fetus, or a stillborn child.
A pickled baby.
A pickled baby. No wonder it died. Born without a brain. But everyone has, you know, pointed out that it wasn't a little fella.
It certainly wasn't a little fella.
No, no.
But because it had been in the jar for a long time, I think it had aged a bit.
What are you basing that on?
You do carry on growing, yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Your ears and your nose.
Your ears and your nose. And your eyes don't grow, so,
Yeah.
you could probably, yeah.
I'll dig it out for you.
Yeah.
Imagine if like, there was an experiment where they were raising a child just based on the information that we said on the radio. What kind of a person
It was like
would they
download,
be?
yeah, yeah, and it
What kind of
just,
information would they
and
have?
it took everything literally.
Exactly.
And I think, yeah, there's no irony or, yeah, it was just.
They just, everything we said they assumed was fact. Everything that Karl said
And
they
any
assumed was
question,
fact.
any question it had about the world, it could only ask Karl.
Exactly.
And it would
See,
be
now,
his-
this worries me because without wishing to be disrespectful in any way, Karl, you know I think you're the best man on earth. When you have a child, we could be in a situation a bit like that. Do you know, is it a concern for you, do you think, that, like, when your son's growing up, or your daughter, and they're asking you questions, you're conscious, I mean, you yourself have admitted that
Yeah,
you have a sphere of knowledge which you are an expert on.
Ask your mother.
You'd say ask your mother.
That's good.
That's great, fair enough.
That's good.
And I'd play with it. I think I'd be a good dad.
Yeah, I think you would.
But I wouldn't be the one who's shouting at it.
No.
I'd
Who would
just
you
let-
get to shout
I'd
at it?
let
Probably Windsor Davis. He'd be good, wouldn't he? You horrible little man!
Well, you know, I'd tell it the rights and wrong. You don't have to be a really bright person to know the rights and wrong in the world.
Yeah.
No, I think you are bright, Karl.
You are. And at what point in their life would you tell them about the evolution of the baguette? Which you told us.
Or
one
the
week.
story of the bee.
Yes.
That you scored once.
Or the
Story-
two children. Would you ever get them to meet as maybe like that? They could be godparents. The friends you had at school.
Yeah,
with webbed hands.
the big heads and
Big
webbed
heads.
They
hands.
weren't my friends.
That weren't friends.
I wish we could track them down.
Oh, that'd be great.
I imagine they're in a zoo. Oh wow.
Or
Yeah.
two big
A safari
jars.
park, yeah.
Two big jars. Industrial strength jars.
I've never heard of me before. I did radio, and
How did you
people
catch that break into radio then?
It's a weird one because it came at quite a time when I thought my life was going to change for the worse in a way. Like I say, I listened to the radio as a kid and thought, yeah, I want to do that. And I did a bit of DJing, you know, I got decks and that. And then my dad had to have a heart operation, and like this was about 87, 88, and I remember like my man was dead worried. It was quite a big deal back then. I think the operation he had wasn't. Now they'd do it and you're in and out in a day.
Yeah.
But back then it was almost like we've got the world's best doctors in for this.
Oh, Karl.
I don't think so. I mean, it's Withenshaw Hospital in Manchester, but they got in people who can mess about with hearts, and they got on with that. And my dad sort of said to me beforehand, this isn't straightforward. Might not come out of this. You've got to look after your mum. And my mum was like dead upset. I remember we went to the Withenshaw Hospital, left and went home, and my mum was sat on the end of the bed, sort of really upset. And I kind of felt like, shit, if this goes wrong, this could change everything, because suddenly you feel like you've got a responsibility. I'm like, I've got to look after everything, and that I remember thinking, I don't like this. So I went from that to then visiting my dad after the operation. He turned out all right. Visiting him in the hospital, and a lad coming round going, "Do you want a request on the radio?" And I was like, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Oh, we do hospital radio." And I was like, what do you mean? How does that work? And he's like, I said, "Do you get paid?" He said, "No, you don't get paid. It's voluntary, but you play records and I said, "Oh, right. How do you get into that?" And he was like, "Oh, just send us a note if you're interested. Send a letter in and we'll get back to you." And that's how it started. So it's weird that there was this point in my life that it could have been a different, like Sliding Doors, that
Totally.
film. My dad could have died. I could have ended up having to look after my mum. I wouldn't have had the opportunities. I wouldn't have moved to London. So that could have changed, but it went the other way. And like going to the hospital, meeting that, and then I did hospital radio for a bit, and met someone who knew someone at Piccadilly who did a night shift, and they used to help answer his phones and that. And he was like, "I can't do it anymore." I think he was moving to Kent or something. And he said, "Do you want to go in and answer the phones?" And I thought, definitely.
I bet you couldn't believe it.
Definitely. It's so weird.
To go from visiting your dad to hospital radio to now you get the break in this.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not.
And it's just getting your foot in the door.
Manchester's such an the Piccadilly radio is such an iconic.
It was massive. I mean, back then as well, it was massive.
Chris Evans caught his
Chris
break
Evans was on there. Quite a few names, like Timmy Mallet. I know it's not the same, but Gary Davis.
Yeah.
There's a lot of radio people who came through there. And once I got my foot in there, that was it. It was like, I'm not letting this go, because I knew, like by that point, my exams were shit. I really wanted to. I knew that it was like, this is what I wanted. This is the dream sort of thing. And once I got in there, whilst they answered the phones, I just go into studios and teach myself to edit, doing little demo tapes and stuff. And then I kind of started earning money putting out pre-recorded shows. Like, presenters who didn't want to work at the weekend used to just record all the links on a bit of tape.
You'd have had the passion that a lot of those guys.
Oh, I loved it.
I'm not knocking any other guys there, but because this was your boyhood dream, you've got all the passion, the energy, the enthusiasm.
Yeah, and I was getting paid. And that was my life, in a way. For years, I spent most of my time there. If there was any work that was there and a chance to earn some money doing what I like, I just took it. And I basically lived there. I mean, I buggered myself up, I think, because I remember being physically sick from being tired.
Yeah.
But kind of like, no, I'll do it. And it's just all come from that point. And I've never got a job through like an interview. I've never had to go into an interview and sell myself. It's been sort of from that point, getting my foot in.
Organic.
And then like proving
that
it's like, I can do this. Just give us a chance, I'll do it, and I'll work hard, and then that's better than any sort of qualification or bigging yourself.
Because anyone can wing an interview.
I'm Ricky Gervais.
My name's Steve Merchant.
Karl, what's your name?
I'll press the buttons.
That's it.
Karl, I press the button.
Yeah. Oh, bless him.
People are loving the K-Man, aren't they?
They are. People are saying they love him. He's just.
He is.
I think we've created a whole new Will McDonald.
I like to think so.
Yeah. Or Gordon the Gopher.
I used to have a show in Manchester.
You used to host a show?
Yeah, overnights.
What kind of things was it? What kind of stuff?
What sort of tip were you on?
Phone-ins and stuff.
Yeah.
You did a phone-in?
Not a proper one.
What did people phone in about?
No, they didn't. That was one problem. There was no phones. Go on.
No, just how things were going and that.
Problems? Were you like an agony uncle?
Kind of.
That's amazing. Imagine that. Imagine sending someone to Karl. You got problems? Is it delicate? We'll go to Karl Pilkington. Okay then. What would you rather kiss? A lady with the body of a fish or the body of a horse?
A fish. Wouldn't you?
This is the best thing in the world. This is like, you know when you call a file a rude word, and then the computer goes, "Do you want to open tits?" You laugh, because it's like, that's what playing with Karl's like. It's sort of like you input it, and you always get, you know what I mean? You sort of get...
You get more back than you bargained for.
Yeah. Oh,
probably only because I've seen films, that one with that Hannah Darrell or whatever her name is in, and she looks alright. I've never seen a film with a woman with a horse's body. Maybe if I've seen one, I might change my mind. If
okay, can you email us a picture of a woman with a horse's body?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
Or do they exist?
Anyway.
Do you reckon unicorns exist, Karl?
No.
Karl, speak. No one's heard your voice today. Come on, Karl.
He doesn't want to.
No, I know he doesn't. We won't talk to you much, but
go on.
It's just nice to say hello to you.
Yeah. I think people quite like to know you're here. Yeah.
We've had some fan mail.
I like his little face, his little Moby. I drew a picture of him in the week, just doodling, and he got really insulted.
Did he?
Why did you get insulted?
Because it wasn't very good. I looked like Ian Camfield, like.
Oh, that's an insult.
Yeah.
Ladies love Canfield.
Yeah.
I mean, they're weird kind of heavy metal ladies. But
Yeah. The ones that drink blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love Canfield.
It was just when I got up and opened the curtains and I thought, look at it.
I'm glad I'm not dying today.
Yeah.
Karl, play a song.
You're interesting. Yeah.
Anyway, listen, you had an interesting fact you were going to give us, Karl. I don't think we can leave people waiting for this any longer.
No.
Right. How much does it cost to run one escalator? That's just one.
Yeah.
On a London Underground. It's running 20 hours a day because it shuts for 4 hours in the night when they're cleaning up and that.
Yeah.
How much does it cost to run it for a year?
£12.
£60,000.
The trouble with these facts is, I've got nothing to compare it against.
Well, think about, like, your yearly electric bill at home.
Well, when you put it like that, when you can...
It's a lot, isn't it? When you think they could just use stairs.
Karl, play a song. Politics on XFM 104.9. Please, people, just use... I'll tell you, you're going to go along later to the Live 8 gig and you're probably going to see some bands that are going to make an effort to entertain you, but if you want entertainment, Rick, you know it. There's only one person to book.
Go on.
Me. If you you have perhaps something to do, because I mean, I'm obviously a top DJ on the radio, but where I really come into my own is DJing in any kind of club environment.
Well, you told me you were DJing, I didn't go to it, DJing at a party, and you said the place was rocking.
The place was roaring.
And they loved it. Karl just said he was there and they weren't.
Well, that's nonsense, Karl, because you know very well that when I'd put on a tune, they'd cheer.
Yeah, but it was late on in the night. They would have done that, whatever you put on.
That's nonsense.
No, they said they were happy and everything. I'm not saying they weren't having a good time. It was your party. It was all right, but they weren't going mental like you're sort of making up.
They were definitely going mental. When I put on the Proclaimers, they could not believe their luck.
Yeah.
They would have walked 1,000 miles.
Was it good though? Were they really? What were they doing? They were dancing, were they?
Dancing and that, but they weren't sort of cheering, going, more and all that at the end.
What's about?
Oh,
Take On Me came on, the big cheer went up.
Oh, I don't know who to believe.
I've been there, done it, Steve. I've been the DJ as well.
Oh, it might be jealousy. It might be like
professional jealousy there.
Yeah.
I think it's because my fortunes are on the up, and these are on the down. We all know famously that he had Pilkington making music, his DJ outfit.
Didn't happen.
I did enough. I just wanted to do enough to pay for the equipment. And I did. And that was that. But I don't like crowds, do I?
Karl, it was you that worked out the maths. And worked out I was 28, because they just worked out I'm 27.
You are 27.
No way.
Yeah, I asked you, didn't I? And I said...
But what I sort of questioned was, I said, well, if you're 27 today, that means last week you were 26.
Well done, yeah. That's irrelevant. So therefore you assumed that I must be 28 then?
Yeah.
Whereas I assumed you were using, your knowledge of maths, such as it is.
I wouldn't do that.
No, sure.
Wow. I actually got lost in that conversation because I genuinely didn't know what he meant would mean last week you were 26. I don't know what that meant.
I don't know what it meant.
Wow. Well, it is Steve's birthday.
But he would have been 26 last week.
So tells you, you genuinely frightened me because it's those staring eyes. There's nothing behind him. It's this little bald head. Looks like Davros looking at me. Genuine fear on his face when he enters into a conversation with another human being.
What bit don't you understand? If he's 27 today, he would have been 26 last week, and he doesn't look 26. He didn't look 26 last week. he looks older than 28 today.
You've started on his birthday, you're still having a go at him.
Carl, I don't look like the kind of hot stud that I actually am, but face facts, that's the truth, mate.
Yeah, live with it.
Get with
Live
the
with it.
programme, gee.
So mackerel.
Did you?
Yeah, I had a pet magpie
Did you?
called Maggie.
Oh, you pet
Inventive.
magpie. You mean you captured it and didn't let it go away?
Yeah.
Can't have a pet magpie.
But then it got really vicious. I mean...
Well, it's been let me go. What do you keep it in a rabbit hutch?
No, it flew around, but it used to just like come to me all the time. But then it's like pecking me head and stuff.
That's not a pet magpie. That's a bird in the garden.
No, but I could actually, I could hold it and stuff. It wasn't scared of me, and it knew it was me. It used to come down from like the top.
It hated you. That's why it wanted to peck you. Is that?
And the other thing, I always remember being younger and like walking through the woods to school with my mum, and like, I was chasing a butterfly, and she said, "Oh, don't do that, Carl." And I said, "Why?" She said, "'Cause they only live a day." I said, "Oh, all right, I'll get a dead one in the morning."
That's genius.
I had a good one here, but
You've forgotten it? Or
I sort of scribbled it down.
This is brilliant, isn't it?
Hang on a minute.
We can edit this out, can't we? It's not
can
live,
edit
is
this?
this?
It's only a pilot.
It's gonna this is gonna look great when it comes out. Go on.
Which food?
Yeah.
Carl, you now making up the question.
No, it's just that I sort of took down the important bits.
But this is amazing. This is amazing radio. Go on.
Which food kind of doesn't make you fat?
Jeez.
What kind of a question is that?
Oh, this is
No, it is proper.
I love imagine this on the Weakest Link. What kind of food doesn't sort of make you, I mean, it doesn't make you fat.
This is
okay, do you want
Basically, no sort of calories in it.
me to, celery?
Water.
Well, I mean, what do you mean? Do you mean a vegetable?
No,
do you mean
you're right. Apparently, you...
Yeah, go on then, ask this one.
Right. What sort? No. The Pope.
Yeah.
What semi-precious...
Sorry, Mrs. Robinson, we're gonna have to let you go.
Yeah.
Go on.
You are the weakest link, Carl. Goodbye.
Yeah, go on.
The Pope.
Yeah, the Pope. Yeah, we've got the Pope. Yeah, that's not strictly a question.
He wears a...
He wears a dustman's hat. He wears gall-blimey trousers.
Does he
Yeah.
live in a council flat?
Yeah, he lives in a council flat.
He wears
but-
a semi-precious stone. What's the stone?
The Pope wears a semi-precious stone. What is the stone?
You mean, what is it called?
Yeah.
What is it called?
What, has it got like a kind of
Well,
papal
I
name?
think it's like, you know, is it a
Is it-
18-carat one?
So we got to try and get
Right.
the carrot
Yeah.
of the Pope's
He
big
calls
diamond.
it Dennis. He calls it Dennis the Stone. Do they want do they want the type of gem it is, like
Or is there
diamond,
some kind of
jade,
papal name for
ruby,
it?
or do they want it like the Rosetta Stone, or
I don't know.
the I can't play a record. Play 2 records.
The worst feature on British radio. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Wait a minute,
I wrote your quiz on Radio 2. You're having a laugh.
The hip hop's had its day. You should be that one.
Put it away. Put it away.
I'm Carl.
Carl, how you doing?
I'm alright. Got a question for you.
Quiet man.
Got a question.
Yeah.
The Pope.
Yeah.
What semi-precious stone does the Pope wear?
It's easy.
Go on.
Topaz.
Is that the right answer?
I don't know. I might have wrote it down.
I'm really sorry, Jonathan.
It's not what he publicly admits to, but I have to know because I was hanging out with him at the Groucho one night, and he was saying, "Oh, look at this, look at this, look at that topaz. Go and buy that. Look at that. Vatican City."
Let's have one final question.
What
What's
was
the
the
answer?
answer? What
I
was the
don't
answer?
know. I don't know.
For the Pope one.
I don't know.
We couldn't even figure out the question, Carl.
What's the stone? What's the stone?
It. Hang on a minute.
Just entertain yourselves at home while Carl looks for the question.
Anthurst.
Amethyst.
Amethyst.
Steve, it's not me that's the real winner. It's Neil who asked that question
About pubs.
and
wins
he's
the
got
3 CDs.
those 3 CDs. Just tell him what they are again. Just
Feeder, Echo Park, a compilation called Reloaded 3, lots of great stuff on there, and the Essential Bob Dylan 2 CD.
Have you
set.
called him and told him?
No, not yet.
This is such a shambles, isn't it? Because what if he goes out or something?
Actually, if he's listening, can he give us a call?
That is so lazy.
Can't we call him like Tarrant would?
I would have
That's
had his
surprising.
number.
You've not got his number?
I forgot.
Oh, this is
I
unbelievable.
said get the numbers, Carl!
I wanted to go for the Pope one.
Carl, do you actually work here in the week? Or, like, did you just, you know, like in a film when they knock someone on the head, put on the spacesuit and go to the moon?
Is it like Secret of My Success and Michael J. Fox? You actually work in the post room, but Saturdays there's no one around that recognises you.
So you pretend that you're a producer?
Yeah.
Because you don't seem to know any of the rules.
Because I reckon that name's made up.
When did I say a producer? When did I say I was?
Karl Pilkington is a name that you'd come up with on the spot.
No, he doesn't work. No, he's not a producer. He says he works in sound.
He works
That's what he
in
says.
sound.
Yeah.
Wacky Mank. That's
Wacky
great.
Mank.
Wacky Mank.
We had an email from someone who reckons they remember you from body popping round Salford way.
Yeah, Eccles Precinct, apparently.
You know that, don't you?
I wasn't doing it round there, though.
Well, what do you mean?
I was round Stretford. Stretford Arndale.
And what were you doing? What sort of body popping was it?
Just a bit of everything. Caterpillar. Bit of moonwalking.
Do you have a little piece of line you used to carry around?
Well, mates had that.
Right, you didn't
Borrowed
bother
theirs. Borrowed theirs.
Were you really good? But you weren't breakdancing, well, you weren't spinning on your head and stuff, you were more body popping.
Well, I hope he wasn't spinning on his head, because you know that can sort of give you little brain damage and things.
It can give you brain damage. Also, it can wear your head down, and also makes your head perfectly round.
Yeah.
Because the gravity is pulling on.
But if you keep on doing it, obviously it's going to wear your hair
out, yeah. So you become sort of like a stupid, bald, and roundy-headed.
Yeah, yeah.
So I very much doubt that you did do any of that. Did you, Karl?
Didn't do any of that.
And we just had an email from Dan. He says, my Mrs. Lynn is pregnant and is 8 days overdue. Karl, could you offer any words of encouragement to coax the baby down the birth canal? I've sat Lynn only inches away from the speaker to allow optimum audio transfer to the uterus. What would you say to that child there, just to lure it out to the wide world, Karl?
I wouldn't rush out, to be honest.
Right.
It's not good, is it? Out here.
Sure.
And I don't really want to talk about kids either, because Suzanne's mate's just had one and now she wants one.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Please never bring a child into the world, Karl. Promise us that.
They just bore me. Have you seen, there's loads of people in the office who have got them now and they've all got baby pictures everywhere. And they're all like, isn't it nice looking? And it's like, no, it's not. They all look the same. Do you know what I mean?
All like Mel Smith.
Just...
Don't they?
But it's that theory, actually, right? Do you know how I've said before about babies, right, but like little old people?
Yeah.
There was, no.
Another of the great theories.
No, the fact that, you know, you're born, and you sort of, you know, you got no teeth, you got a little bald head, you can't control your bodily functions and that.
Sure.
Then you get to like
Sorry,
70.
you're describing yourself?
Yeah, I was to say, you've got a dangerous
No,
ground,
I'm
aren't
just saying, that's how you're born.
Yep.
Then you get to about 70 or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that starts to happen again, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, there was a story in America about, just backing this up again, 70-year-old fella.
70-year-old fella, okay.
Little bald head.
Yeah.
Right? Probably no teeth and that.
Probably, yeah.
Nappy and that, right?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Goes
It's
into...
like 70-year-olds pop the old nappy on your 70th birthday, take your teeth out.
Goes into an off-licence to get some beer. Doesn't get served because he didn't think he was old enough.
Right. Okay. Right, okay.
Wait.
Karl's back.
Wait a minute,
No,
sorry. So they thought he was a giant baby that had walked into an
Forget
off-licence.
it.
Weird, innit?
Steve, forget it.
Karl, please. I
Forget
need
it.
Karl to answer.
No, I mean, that's the story, but it's weird, isn't it? That's
it's
what
not
I'm
true.
saying, it just backed up
The
my
guy in an
argument.
off-licence thought that a giant baby had waddled
A
into an
70-year-old
off-licence.
wrinkled baby in an overcoat, stuck in Werther's Original, smoking a pipe and going, I can't believe it, the price is not the same as they were, right, was a small child.
Well,
Yeah, weird, isn't it? Play a record, you're an idiot.
right. What is the saying? Chucking a baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
Have you heard that phrase?
Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, how would you use that?
Well, how would I use that? Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I suppose if you've been discussing something, you've come up with some plans, but you're slightly worried, and, you know, you might abandon the whole plan, whereas there might be some ideas in there which are still worth retaining.
Exactly.
So you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
There might be something you can just change and you don't, yeah.
You know, there might be a few ideas you can salvage from an otherwise worthless one.
Well, the saying, right, comes from, like, years ago again. And,
Pre or post phone?
and, ages and ages ago when, like, you know, the bloke worked in the house, you know, he was like the coal man, and then you had like
No way, it's important.
then like the mum is like you know, she stays at home making the dinner, looking after the kids.
Yep.
And you've got like the little kid who's just growing up, just messing about and stuff. So what happens is, back then they didn't have like fresh flowing warm water every day. So all they could only afford to have like one full big bath of fresh water. So they'd fill up the bath, right? And then the dad would come home and he'd say, oh, I've had I had a tough day at work and that, down the pit. And his wife would say, it's alright, I'm putting the dinner on, you're gonna have a nice warm bath.
So, because he gets the bath first.
Because he gets the bath first, because he's the grafter.
And he's covered in coal.
He's covered in coal, so the water's, like, minging by the time he's finished.
Yeah.
Right? And then the wife says, oh, after all my, cleaning the house and doing the cooking, I'm a bit sweaty now.
She's covered in dust and grime, she has the next one.
I'll have a bath, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the line, there's a little baby.
Yeah.
It's been playing out all day. Also got, like, little grubby knees and stuff, needs to have a bath.
Yeah.
It goes in the bath. Right? But because the water's so dirty...
Sure.
They go and empty the water out of the window. Can't see the baby in it. Chucking the baby out with the bath water. That's where it comes from.
I don't know what to say, Steve. Because I've heard this, I'm just... What do you think, Steve? Steve?
So firstly, that sort of, I mean... that doesn't explain
where do you start? You're struggling, aren't you? You're struggling where to start.
Well, firstly, I can't see how we've now applied this to,
I've
you know, the example that
I've been thinking of this for days, Steve, waiting for you to hear this one.
These coal mining parents, deeply negligent.
Yeah, I love
They've left their baby in the bath, unattended.
That's the way round to do it. The one covered in coal.
Yeah.
You go first.
Sure.
You go first. Don't wash the baby and then get in that.
Yeah.
One covered in coal goes first. That's the best idea.
Yeah.
Second most dirty one goes second, and then the clean little baby.
Yeah.
I think we should do him last because he's done nothing towards this family.
But more than that, Rick, leave him to his own devices.
Yeah.
Jack, I'm just going to throw the water out.
Yeah.
In the bath.
Don't check first.
Have you checked that the baby's not in there?
Don't
No,
check,
I'm not
don't
even going to waste
bother.
my time checking.
You'd see it.
I'd be able to see a baby.
You'd see a baby in
if
there.
a baby was in here, I'd be able to see it. I'm just going to throw it out.
Yeah, I'm not even going to look, to be honest, Jack.
Not
We've all
even
had our
gonna
bath.
look, yeah.
If the baby's in there,
Yeah.
then it should be
Be
making
careful,
itself
Jack. We have lost 3 children this way. Don't worry.
I'm not going at the moment. I'm not going, and I'm desperate to see him, man. I mean, he's going to do a great concert. It's his only one in London. I can't believe that being on the radio, being on XFM, the listenership's going up apparently. I can't believe I can't get a ticket. I've asked Carl. He's done nothing. He's done nothing.
Hang on a minute.
No, Carl had a very good point.
Nothing.
Carl, say what you said when he was whinging in
No,
the
but first of all, whilst you're moaning, you also asked in the week for a Badly Drawn Boy album.
Yeah.
You got in today.
Yeah.
There's one there for you.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but it's yin and yang.
And it's like, yeah, but I do,
Carl, what's Steve ever done for you? That's what you got to ask yourself. What has Steve ever done for you?
well, he took me to the BAFTAs. Yeah, but only 'cause no one else would probably want to go with you.
I can't believe that.
What is
I
this?
do not believe that. Oh, Steve, I'm going to stitch you up now, Carl. And it's in a nice way, and don't worry, it won't be too bad. He won't take it too bad. Carl sent me a little text message today.
Right.
No,
Oh, what is this?
Right, okay. Okay.
You know, I'm in a very frail mood at the moment.
No,
'cause I'm
you're
not
like
going to
this
see
one.
Bruce.
This is funny, because me and him have been, like, sending, trivia back and forth to each other. Which is another point, right? I sent him... Oh, well, I'll get to that in a minute. I thought he'd really be amazed with,
Well, while you're fiddling, if you can make my dream come true, to go and see Bruce Springsteen tomorrow, then give us a call on the usual number.
But like I said, Steve...
What?
Right, it wouldn't be... Right, you just said when the song was on, can't believe it, right? We work at XFM, and I can't get tickets for Springsteen, right?
Yeah.
We work in radio, we should get tickets. Right, now think
Which
of
I'm
the
willing
amount
to pay for.
Yeah, but think of the... Yeah, but if it's sold out, it's sold out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
but that's just something they say.
Right, that's just what they say, is it? Right, so everybody on local radio stations say, do you know, I like that Bruce Springsteen, I want a free ticket, right? So another say...
I tried to
400
phone, I phoned for an hour and a half, I couldn't get through.
Not long enough.
I put the hours in.
Not long enough.
Not long enough.
What are you talking about? Put the hours in.
No.
Right, so another 400 people turn up at the gig, they cram them all in, there's people being crushed, you know, they've paid the money early, they were up early that day when the phone lines were open, whilst you were probably sleeping, and that, so they're dedicated, and they're the ones at the front getting crushed.
What?
Would you
Why are
mind
they
Dad
getting
be
crushed?
happy if you were there getting crushed?
I don't mind, I'll sit at the side of the stage and watch him.
Yeah, but
I don't mind.
But everyone will say that then, and then
What?
before you know it,
Yeah.
no one can see anything because
No,
you're all
Carl's
on the
right
stage.
on this one.
Leave
Right,
it.
yeah,
Leave
just
it.
read, right, I'm gonna give you this here, I'm now handing over my mobile phone to Steve to read the, you can see it's from Carl at the top, but just read it out as you scroll down, just read it out loud.
Is this a text message from...
Yeah, this is a text message to me from Carl. Read it out.
To see at night as well as an owl, you would need eyes the size of grapefruits. If only Stephen could turn his head right round as well. Carl, I can't believe it. What upsets me most, Karl, right, is not the fact that you've been slagging me off behind my back. It's the fact that you've got the cheek to come on here and moralise because you failed to get me tickets and make a dream come true. You've come on here trying to pass the buck and say that it's a health and safety problem, when in actual fact it's a Karl Pilkington problem.
Look at that, see that, I've got it in a bin.
I'm devastated, you know.
I didn't thought, let's play a record.
I'm upset.
I should have eaten this banana off air.
What's the number?
It's 08700 800 1234. But if it's sold out, Steve, it's sold out.
A bit of a classic here. R.E.M.
No, I never understood with Giants how they actually got that big in the first place, because what food was around to make them? Because not only were they like big, but they were muscly big. They ate well.
They ate whole cows, probably.
When, Karl,
it's not well documented, Karl, is it?
You know they don't actually exist and never have. Okay. Right. Karl, it was you that worked out the maths and worked out I was 28, because they just worked out I'm 27.
You are 27.
No way.
Yeah, I asked you, didn't I? And I said...
Because, no, but what I sort of questioned was, I said, well, if you're 27 today, that means last week you were 26.
Well done, yeah. That's irrelevant. So therefore you assumed that I must be 28 then?
Yeah.
Whereas I assumed you were using, you know, your knowledge of maths, such as it is.
I wouldn't do that.
No, sure.
Wow. I actually got lost in that conversation because I genuinely didn't know what he meant would mean last week you were 26. I don't know what that meant.
I don't know what it meant.
Wow. Well, it is Steve's birthday.
But he would have been 26 last week.
Stuff tells you, you genuinely frighten me, because it's those staring eyes. There's nothing behind him. It's this little bald head. Looks like Davros looking at me. Genuine fear on his face when he enters into a conversation with another human being.
What bit don't you understand? If he's 27 today, he would have been 26 last week, and he doesn't look 26. He didn't look 26 last week. He looks older than 28 today.
You've started on his birthday. You're still having a go at him.
Karl, I don't...
One play it. Number one.
Yeah.
Fooled you.
It was number one, the Millennium Prayer.
I know, yeah. Well, it was, it was the Millennium, wasn't it?
It was, but I don't know who's buying it. I mean, I know, but you seem to claim it's some kind of like 60-year-old women, but they're not.
Yeah,
are they really a commercial force now?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Karl seems to know that.
Well, like when you're born, you're a little baby, wrinkly and stuff. When you get older, you sort of morph into a baby again. And you go through the same phases. So when you're young, you buy singles. You get old, you got nothing to do all day. You got all your pension money. What will I buy? Cliff Richard's on the telly. Here's my video, buy me song.
You see, that started off as quite a sensible point, because I actually think they do it. But what was all that alien stuff about when you're born, you go wrinkly and you go wrinkly again? So sometimes you mix like normal things that human beings say with I don't know what.
Well, look, when you're a baby, you've got a little bald head, no teeth. You get old. What happens?
Are you a philosopher? Are you an official philosopher? Because, I mean, it sounds like it. Oh, Karl, play a record. You're a gem. You're a diamond.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year indeed. And across from us, the little fellow who presses the buttons, because, to be honest, we can't be bothered.
Yep.
Karl Pilkington.
How would you describe Karl Pilkington for people who didn't hear the show last week?
For people who didn't hear the show, Karl is, and he won't want me saying this, because he won't fully understand it, one of the most stupid men I've ever met.
Yes, that's absolutely right.
He has a perfectly round head.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable. You can see pictures of him. Go to rickygervais.com. We've put up some photographs, just snapshots, and honestly, his head looks like an egg.
It's not an issue though, is it?
What?
We're on the radio. Doesn't matter.
They're just trying to, paint a picture for people though, Karl. It's important.
In fact, I have painted a picture. You can go to the BBC website and you can, I think you can win that if someone hasn't already.
But can you download it as wallpaper for your computer? You can. So if you want to see a cartoon representation of Karl, then there it is.
It's an original signed by me. I mean, it's not Damien Hirst.
No, sure.
But I mean, I think it's pretty accurate, Steve. I mean, for people who can't see it, but you can see a real photo or but that's Karl Pilkington, one of the most stupid men alive. You know, some people still think that he's an invention.
I know.
He think that we invented him and we give him lines and stuff, as if we could do that. What? And we shaved his head as well, and made him live in Manchester for 20 years. It's
when I was younger, I had a mobile disco.
Brilliant. So did I.
And it was me and my mate Colin Makin, and the disco's called Pilky's Making Music.
That's brilliant. I mean, genuinely brilliant. Pilky's Making Music.
But I was just looking through the papers, of course, and it's the New Year's Honours list today, and I imagine you're very excited about that, Karl.
New Year's Honours and all that.
Yeah, you're familiar with that, when people get knighthoods and OBEs?
I've heard about it.
Sir Tom Jones, you got to call him Sir Tom now. You pleased with that? Do you think Tom Jones deserved it?
Well, they sort of chuck him out to anyone now, don't they? So if he wants one, let him have one. Well, it's just, I mean, the way I saw it was, like, you know, the Queen used to give them out to people who, you know, did like big things like killing dragons and all that.
Yeah, that was a while ago, but yeah.
Now it's, you know, from dragon killers to sort of Joe Pasquale.
Yeah, I see what you mean, yeah. You went in the jungle with Ant and Dec.
Yeah. Now it's time for White Van Man.
White Van Man. Yes, for those that don't buy The Sun, they think it's beneath them. White Van Man is a column they have, I think, every day, actually, and they just get sort of some, you know, Joe Public to kind of comment on the week's news. Just seemed to me, you know, that it might be interesting to get Karl's views on some of the big events.
Not because we think that Karl hasn't got a valid sort of viewpoint. No. Because Karl sees the world differently to some people. That's all. And that's what's interesting. You know, like an artist does, or
exactly. Yeah, he's very bohemian in his outlook.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you're up to scratch on this week's news?
I don't like this, but
don't you?
Don't just relax.
Why not?
It's pressure.
No, because you just have to give us your first opinions.
For your honest answer, that's all we've ever asked of you, Karl, and it's all you've ever given us. Your honest, your first from the heart view, yeah? Don't worry, just relax.
Just chill out.
Are you worried that people are listening and thinking you're an idiot?
If my girlfriend's listening now, go and have a wash or something.
Go and have a wash.
Not very nice, is it? Is it the opposite of Napoleon and Josephine? Yeah, go on. If you're going to visit me again, Josephine, for Christ's sake, wash.
Well, I'll ease you in with something fairly easy, a music-based question. Kylie Minogue versus Dido as Queen of the Brits. What's your view there?
Go and have a wash.
It doesn't really matter, does it?
It doesn't really matter.
What doesn't really matter?
With the Brits. I was watching it the other night, and I think Kylie will be a good-looking old woman.
Okay.
Do you ever do that sort of thing?
Steve, I want to celebrate with you. Every time he opens his mouth, it doesn't matter. I want us to open a bottle of champagne.
I know what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like we did that.
Yes.
No, and the weird thing is, if it weren't for me dad, I wouldn't be here doing this show, because when he was in hospital...
Well, no, I'll stop you there.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's all you need to know.
You wouldn't be here, true, but no.
Well, no, because this was after I was born. So, I would be here.
But so his more direct involvement was what?
Yeah, because when my mum was seeing me dad in the hospital, I got a bit bored, went for a wander, found the hospital radio station, and got a gig.
Really?
So, in a real sense, if it wasn't for Karl's dad, Karl wouldn't be here.
And did your dad, like, while he was listening to you, did he, like, sort of tap the nurse and go, "Can you get that twat off the air?"
Who's put him in that app?
You see, this is what annoys me with job applications, because rather than just saying, do you want the job and what can you bring to this business?
Yeah. Do you want the job is a good one.
Because the thing is...
That's sort of the one for the boys.
No, listen, right?
Because if they say no, I don't think they want the job.
Yeah, but listen.
Go on.
I mean, I presume with what you do, you have to take people on and stuff.
What, in a fight, you mean?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's more important that you're willing to graft and put the hours in.
Sure.
Than say that, you know, you did well at school.
Yes.
Sure.
Because if I wanted to, I could have done well at school.
Of course.
I just didn't want to.
Yeah. So where's this going? So you had the application form.
So when it came to the qualifications bit and that, I couldn't fill them in because I didn't have any qualifications. And it was also asking about your languages. And I put down English quite good.
English quite good. Ha ha ha.
And his girlfriend came over and seen the form that he'd sent off, and this was a copy of it.
Yeah.
And so she went, oh, you know what I mean? So that's what started, you know, the disappointment.
So they're going to get that and think that you're not English.
I don't think I've got it. It was ages ago.
It's time to give Karl... You're actually nervous, aren't you? I'm a little bit nervous. Just to recap, Karl is 30 this year. He never went to get his results of his GCSEs. So myself and Steve took upon ourselves to phone his school, track them down, and we actually got your results. What did you think you took?
Did English.
Right.
Maths.
Yeah.
Art.
Right.
And I think I did physics.
Okay. Well, you didn't do any of them.
Eh?
You didn't do any of them. You didn't register. You registered for one exam and took one exam and got results for one exam. So I don't know what you thought you were turning up to, or you weren't registered, or you didn't...
You're familiar with the notion of registering for an exam. You have to kind of officially register in order to be eligible.
What do you mean, register? I turned up for a couple.
Yeah, you can't just show up. You have to register for them.
You have to pay this because it costs the school money, so they have had to have paid for you if they thought you were going to pass. You can't just turn up on the day and ask for some paper at the front.
I never got a letter telling me that.
Well, that's because you were never at school.
But you did somehow register, or registered for one exam. You registered for history.
It's a topic that you've always been interested in.
Oh, I was saying to Ricky before, World War II, I loved it.
Not the actual event,
no,
the study of it, you
all
mean?
the stuff like, you know, about the Anderson shelters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the bombs and that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I took it, it had nothing to do with that. It was more about the Tudors.
So the Second World War didn't come up? You mean there were no questions about the Anderson shelters?
Nothing.
That's devastating.
So
what are you expecting the result to be?
Is that seriously? Is that it?
Yeah, it's the only one you took and registered.
As far as the school is concerned, or certainly in
it's the
terms
only
of
one
what
that
they told
counts.
us.
It's the only result. It's the only one that counts. Yeah, you've got.
I don't. Did you register for yours?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have. Yeah, I've got certificates and everything.
So what? Do you do that before the exam? Do you have to go somewhere and sign something, or?
Yeah, you don't check your results and then decide if you want to register. It's not like Millionaire when you look at the question and go, I think I'll take the money.
Yeah.
You go.
No.
But anyway, you must have registered for one, or maybe your teacher put you in for
Well,
it.
I didn't do it.
They
So
must have
someone
been
else
confident.
registered
They
for
must
me.
have been confident. They must have thought your best bet was history.
Right. So, what did they get?
You got an E, which I think, I mean, technically, is a pass.
E.
It's a bad pass, but there's F,
How
and there's
much
I mean, you're not going to be doing a PhD.
you can get an F, right, which is fail, and then a U, which is ungraded. Now, I don't know why the U exists, because F means you failed. U is like them going, you not only failed, but you wasted my time.
So,
We're annoyed that you took this exam.
so who thought they'd register me to get an E?
well, they didn't.
Well, they
think
didn't.
you'd get
I
any.
think they were hoping. It was rather like you with the lottery. They were hoping
see-
for something better than
You
nothing.
see, I assume that the man who registered for that thought he can scrape an E if Anderson shout was come up.
Yeah. What happened to Henry VIII's last wife? Did she die, or did she not die? Divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded.
Do you know that the only king that has got a moustache is no? The only king that hasn't got a moustache is the King of Hearts on the playing cards.
What's the record you can play?
I want to resurrect the career of a different artist each week. This is an artist who's overlooked by the general public.
It's a red card. It's like when my mum taught me the alphabet. She taught me as like a song. And like
C, D, E, F, G.
Yeah, constantly. No, not like that.
Huh.
That's how everyone else could do it, and I couldn't do it that way.
Right.
What
Like
tune did she
A,
do
B,
it
C,
to?
D. It was A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
As you know, I lent Karl, part of his education is historical education, I lent Karl Gladiator, the movie, on DVD, which he watched on his PlayStation 2, and Rasputin.
Do you know last week when you gave me this, did you know my result for history?
No.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yep. Now, right, okay, it's the film review. Karl, you just tell it from the heart, tell us what you thought about the film, what you thought the...
Can I just ask, is this the first time you'd seen Gladiator? You'd never seen it before?
No.
Okay. And what were your thoughts?
Okay. The film review.
Gladiator.
It's alright. Nothing great. It's like an old, sort of an old version of Rocky done in the olden days, really.
Right.
A bloke fighting other people.
Sure.
How sort of well known is the story? Do you reckon people know the basics?
Well, just very quickly, just do the
Right,
plot.
quickly. There's a guy called Max.
Maximus, yeah.
Yeah. There's Caesar, and there's Caesar's kid, and Max goes to war, sort of wins it, comes back. Caesar says, "You're good at what you do. I wish my son was as good as you. So I want you to be in charge when I die." His kid finds out, bit annoyed about it, kills his dad because he don't want anyone to hear that he said that he wants him to be in charge.
Yeah.
So his kid gets in charge and thinks, "I'll show you. You're not going to be king, I am. You're going to be a slave or something." And then Next thing you see is
sorry, can I just stop there? My only thought is the film's 3 hours long, so maybe we shouldn't go through the whole plot.
We've done the first 10 minutes, but go on. So yeah, he's a slave, and then...
Yeah, but then, that was an interesting bit that I thought, right? I mean, I was watching this with a girlfriend, she was already annoyed because she wanted to watch Friends on E4.
Okay.
So...
Yeah. It was a good episode as well this week.
Was it?
Yeah.
Don't tell her that.
Okay.
Right, so she was annoyed, and she said, come on then, put it on. And I got it wrong straight away, because it says on the back 149, so I thought that was an hour and 49 minutes. It turned out it was 149... No, I thought it was 1 hour 49,
yeah.
But it was 149 minutes.
Sure.
So it overran anyway.
By 40 minutes.
Yeah. So anyway, the interesting bit was where he was going across the desert on a horse. And I think to show you how long he'd been going across the desert on his horse, he's showing you a shot of the horse's knees and they were bleeding. And I just wondered whether that's what horses do if they run for a long time. Do you know?
I don't. Good.
Right, so anyway, so he goes on, it keeps going on like this. He's a slave, and then he has a fight at the end with the Caesar's kid, and he kills him. And that's how it ended.
Okay, good. What did you think of it? Just generally, what bits... What do you think was wrong with it?
Right, well, I've read up on it, and there's already a fact that is wrong.
Right.
Caesar's kid, he didn't actually kill his dad. His dad died of a natural death.
Right, in real life, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, what's Caesar's kid's name? Comedian or something?
I think it's comedian, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the name comes from. When a funny person is called a comedian.
He didn't actually get killed in real life by Max.
No.
He died by his sister poisoning him, and he didn't die. No.
Are you saying that this is not a historical document?
It's wrong.
All over the place.
Yeah.
Well, next week I'm giving you Braveheart, and that is actually true. That is factually accurate.
I can't handle
it. It was a little Australian fella that helped him out.
Just for people who watched it, you know that the guy, Caesar's kid.
Yeah.
He died. His sister tried to poison him. That didn't work. Apparently, he was a gay fella, and his boyfriend, who was a wrestler, strangled him. That's
where did you get this information?
On the internet. I thought I'd look it up to see how much of it I actually got right.
Yes.
And that's what I read.
Okay, so out of 10?
5.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's no good. I wouldn't get it out. And it's annoying the way it says, like, you know, this film's got to be seen at the cinema, because I saw it at home and I don't think I missed out on anything.
Very good point. I think that's probably the point they're making, but yours is valid too. We'll play a record, and after that I'm going to ask you about Rasputin, the Mad Monk. On Karl's re-education this week. Rasputin, you read a little book about Rasputin.
What did you know about Rasputin before you read the book, Karl?
Could I just tell you, when I handed him this book, it was my house, I said, right, he went, is he the one that lived under the bridge? And I went, what do you mean? He went, the fella that lived under the bridge, and you had to pass him with a, and Jane went, you're thinking of Rapunzel. And he went, yeah, and I went, well, that's not Rapunzel either. Rapunzel's, you had to say his name, you had to guess his name.
The person who lived under the bridge was the troll in the 3 little book graph.
I'm a troll, foldy well. So, to answer your question, Steve, that's what he knew about Rasputin. Okay?
So have you read this whole book? Can I just have a look at it, Rick?
It's a whole book. It's about the size of a beer mat.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, but did you read the whole thing?
No.
You didn't manage to read the whole thing?
You didn't even do that?
Well, again, some of the names in there are so long and foreign sounding that I just thought, I can't remember all these. So I just got to the meat of the story.
Go on,
what did you learn about Rasputin?
Right. He was a monk.
Yep.
And
mad? Was he a mad monk?
Hang on a minute.
Don't confuse him.
Sorry.
Right.
Go on.
God. You see, this is what happened in the exams. Right, it was.
Oh, don't do that when I'm drinking, Karl. Please, mate.
He loved his women. And that's how the story started off. He had really nice.
Story started off. Yeah.
He had really nice eyes, and that's what everyone fell for, especially the women.
Okay.
Anyway, the people back then thought he had special powers because he could hypnotise people or something.
Oh yeah.
And it was about a little lad who had some sort of blood clot on his leg, and he said, "Just calm down, and you'll be all right." and people thought he had special powers, but what he was doing, he was saying calm down, and he relaxed, and it stopped the blood flowing sort of as fast, and that's how he got better. But anyway, that's the only bit of special work that he did, and then he kept going on, and he was going in brothels and all that, and the people in the town thought, this isn't right, he shouldn't be going about doing this, and
Where did he live?
Russia.
Right.
Is that right?
Yep.
What sort of era?
I thought you'd might know,
About 1800.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And then.
Do you want to check that, Steve? You got the book?
People
Well,
got
I know
sick
for a
of
fact that's
him.
not right.
People got sick of him, and they said, "Oh, we'll have to get rid of him." So they tried to. He loved cakes as well as women.
Okay.
So they said, "Let's poison a cake," and they poisoned a load of
Easier than
cakes.
poisoning a woman, wouldn't it?
And he ate these cakes, and it just didn't kill him. And they were like, "God, what's going on?" And they kept giving him more and more cakes, and
He was suspicious.
and that didn't work. So the fella said, "That's it. I'm going to shoot him." So.
Well, I imagine it was the end of his tether.
So
I mean, he was back and forth to Mr. Kipling's.
He shot him once, and that didn't work. And the fella thought, "Oh my God!" And he started running away, and Rasputin's running after him, and he shoots him like another. I think he took 4
face
bullets.
full of Battenberg.
Four bullets.
Didn't you swear then?
4 bullets. It took to kill him, and then this fella who was after him chucked him in an icy lake, and that was the end of him. But I don't understand. Sort of.
What don't you understand, Carl?
Well, the fact that, he's a bit of a name in history, and I don't understand why, because it just sounds a bit like my brother. Right, well, thanks for coming. Starting off, I started off at the beginning of the book, what have you?
The Bible, we'll call it for the sake of argument.
Right. There's quite a bit missing. It doesn't say about how sort of God was already about. So it doesn't go right back to the beginning.
Right, okay.
God's already knocking about and that.
Yep.
Anyway, he made the world, right? He did all that, right?
Yeah.
He sorted out sort of sun in the day and that, so everything's light and you can see yourself about.
Right.
He did the stars and the moon for at night, right? I was thinking about that. If I was him, I probably would have just let it be day all the time rather than having 2 systems.
We're not criticising.
No, I'm not
Okay.
having a go. I'm just saying. I mean, it's easy now, isn't it, in hindsight, to sort of say, do you know what?
It's easy to really criticise him, but he was working.
He's sort of loosened the top. You just got it off. Yeah, sure. Yeah, he did a lot of the work. Yeah, cheers.
No, I'm just saying though, like they mess about with the clocks and that because of farmers getting up in the dark and that. If it was day all the time, less crime and that. I'm just saying it might have been worth an idea.
He missed a trick there, is what you're saying.
But he moves in mysterious ways, so you don't know why he's done that. He might be thinking something that your small brain can't really.
Fair enough. I'm not having a go. Like I say, I'm just reading it and thinking about it. That's what it's all about, innit? Education, get yourself thinking.
Yeah, go on.
Anyway, so he did all that. He made the sun and that, and then he said, "Oh, make some creatures and stuff." He made a load of birds, loads of different birds, creatures, animals, and that. Because with the world being so big, it's like if you buy a big house, you need more furniture, don't you?
Right.
So he made this, and he was like, "Oh, God, what am I going to fill it with?" So this is why he did all these.
Right.
Animals.
That's not actually in the Bible. You speculated there on the mind of God.
Well, I'm sort of just treating it like it's his big house,
right?
Isn't it? Okay. And he's filling it. He's making it look nice, different birds and what have you. Right? It's just my opinion. Like
it's making it sound like the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah.
So anyway, right. So he does all that, and he thinks, right, I'll make a little man and a woman.
Sure.
Who we all know as like Adam and Eve.
Yep.
Everyone knows their names, but at no point is their surname mentioned. Right?
Well, he's not going to have trouble with the post, is he?
So anyway, right, Adam and Eve are knocking about. The God says to him, "Look, just enjoy yourselves and that, right? Do what you want, but I'll tell you this. I'm only telling you once," he said. He said, "Don't be eating fruit from that special tree."
Yeah.
So they were like, "All right, fair enough." He said, "The tree that I'm talking about is the tree of knowledge."
Yeah.
So that's sort of made it a little bit worse because it sounds good and that, and you're like, "Oh, knowledge."
Yeah.
Well, don't go in that door. Yeah,
it's that sort of thing. Instead of just sort of not telling them, because I don't know. See, the tree of knowledge, what it had on it, by what I can work out, is it's an apple tree, right? And it's pretty tempting, isn't it, to a little cheeky apple? Because I don't know what they were eating back then.
Right.
Do you know what they were getting by on?
No, I don't know.
Right. So anyway, so they were like, "Yeah, all right, whatever." Eve goes for a wander about.
Yeah.
Right? Killing time and that. Bumps into this snake.
Oh, yeah.
And, Snake said, said, alright, you got an apple, right? And, he was selling it, so he was going, it tastes good and that, right? And she's like, well, shouldn't really, but, you know, I've been told that I shouldn't eat that, because I think God said to her at some point,
get on with it. You're on page 1 at the moment.
This is absurd.
This is just unbelievable.
I know, but I'm just
Just get to the point. You're on page 1. You haven't moved on. Just get. Okay, we know Adam and Eve. What have you learned?
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying. He was saying don't eat it because it's dangerous.
I know. We know. Get on with it. Just get on. I mean,
But the thing is, people do eat things that are dangerous, don't they? Like, and pufferfish. Even to this day, people are eating stuff that can kill them. Yeah. So it's not a threat. They're not that bothered. It's an apple, right? They're gonna have a little cheeky apple. Anyway, they eat it, right? God goes mental at them. He said, I told you not to do that. I've told you you can enjoy yourself and everything. You've gone against what I said. You've eaten the apple. Adam and Eve sort of got told off and what have you. They went off and had kids. That added extra pressure. A lot of arguments happened. And, that's kind of part 1.
That is amazing. That is amazing. So, oh, you're an idiot. Really, you are an idiot.
Well, part 2 later then.
Get on with it!
I'm just saying. So the kids didn't listen to the mum and dad because they had a criminal record and that for nicking the apple. The kids were running riot, they're not bothered. So, let's pick up.
I'd like to apologise there. I'm just gonna say, it really isn't worth complaining. He doesn't know what he'd get off. In a court of law, he'd get off. He's got, I don't know, he wouldn't be culpable for his own actions.
Come on,
even
I'm getting bored of this now.
Okay.
Right, so, God, he got to a point where he's going, it's all going wrong, right? People are doing what they want, Adam and Eve aren't listening, all the rest of it.
No, he gave them free will.
I've got
so
to do
the story
something.
goes, this is making me
So, anyway, right, so he said, how can I get rid of all the badness and that? So, he made it rain, right? It rained for ages, people got sick of the rain and that, right? Cleaned it all out, right? Before he did that, though, I forgot something that's quite important. He met up with this bloke, Noah.
They met up over a coffee.
Yeah.
And he said to Noah, look,
get an umbrella.
I like you and that. Here's a little job for you.
All I'll say is buy shares in galoshes.
Yeah.
Words
no, I don't want to give anything away, but you get a boat.
Yeah.
And get a big boat.
He said, what I want you to do, right, make this boat up. He said, and when you've done that, go about, right, and get 2 of everything. Right? So,
man and female.
That's a big job, isn't it? Right?
Man and female.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you know, because I always say I always put myself in the situation of the person's job and that.
Yeah.
I was thinking I can sort of sort out a man elephant, man woman and that. I wouldn't know how to do it with a spider. What?
I don't know why he brought on spiders. I do not know why Noah brought on spiders, because he missed an opportunity there. Get rid of all things like that. Yeah. Get rid of the spider, and get 4, flamingos or something. Or get 8 chimps. Let's use the space wisely.
But the weird thing is, right, with the spiders as well, because he did get the spiders on, didn't he? It rained, right? It rained for ages, like what was it, weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Raining that. So and then he let out a bird, I think it was a raven.
No, it wasn't.
Right, come on, let him finish.
No, it wasn't a raven.
This is a fact. He let a raven out, right, and he didn't come back. So already his system had broken, because he only had 1 raven left then, right? So he was like, oh. So, he said, right, he left it a couple of days, he sent a dove out.
Oh, that's it, that's what I know. You've been more than me, I'll say.
Yeah,
sorry, is that what he did? He let a raven out first,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then
never trust a raven. Always give it to the dove.
Dove came.
Don't send a raven to do a dove's job.
I reckon the raven found another ark, an unofficial ark that was just like a party ark.
No, look, come on! Come on!
Right. So the dove came back.
Yeah.
So he said, right, there must be dry land somewhere. Right?
Okay.
So anyway, he was like, let's just hang about.
Why did you think that?
Because he found a twig or something.
Exactly. Say why couldn't that be the top of a tree though? How did he know that?
Rick, if you are going to add to this, we're never going to get it done.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Right, so there was mud everywhere, because the water went down, mud everywhere.
Where did the water go?
Shut up,
where did it go?
Shut up, we haven't got time to go into that.
It doesn't make sense. If the whole world was flooded, where did the water go?
We have not got time for this.
Where did the water go?
This is mental.
Did they refreeze the ice caps? What? Tell me, is it, it's gotta be
specific.
It
didn't say, it was a kid's Bible, wasn't it? It wasn't going in depth. It just said the water went away, right?
Where?
It floated off. Oh, I can't be bothered.
Just do the final, I suppose, what would you call this? Summing up with the Bible, then we do a longer one.
Well, no, it's not sort of summed up. Because, to be honest, after the Noah bit and stuff, I was a bit like, oh, this.
Oh, just do it. Just do it. Okay, this is the final. This is the final episode of the Bible. Well, the greatest story ever told.
No, but it's not the final chapter. This is just another bit in it that I thought I can relate to.
Get to the end.
You couldn't even read a children's Bible. They had to go to Waterstones and ask 2 people for, and they put it in a brown paper bag.
It was 200 and odd pages and that.
Oh.
So the one that I picked up on, right, that I could relate to.
Okay.
Do you know Samson and Delilah?
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what happened in that?
Yes.
Right, well, just in case you haven't heard the story of Samson and Delilah, what it is, I think God had a word with, some bloke, I can't remember his name, I think it's Manoah or something his name was.
Right.
He said, listen, I'm still having problems, Adam and Eve let me down.
He didn't say that, by the way. Anyone listening, at no point has God ever said, Adam and Eve let me down.
No,
anyway.
and then he had a word with Noah, he did the boat thing, so he said, I can't ask for 2 favours, right?
Sure.
So he asked this other bloke, Manoah.
He was happy with Noah, though, was he?
Yeah, he let him go on, though. It's like jury service, once you've done it, you're left alone for a bit, aren't you? So anyway,
Did he didn't bother getting the fish on the boat, did he?
I don't know.
They were happy, weren't they? Surely.
But anyway,
although was it salt water everywhere? Why didn't the freshwater fish die out?
Rick, I'm just gonna stop you there because we've still got to get monkey news in before 1 o'clock.
So he had a word with this fella, and he said, look, what I'm gonna do, you're gonna have a kid soon. It's gonna be a little boy, right? And when he grows up, he's gonna sort out my problems. So it was like a long-term plan that he had sorted, right? So anyway, they have the kid, right? They're happy. They've got a little baby boy. They go, right, what we'll do to show our respect to God, we'll never cut his hair, right? Because he'll like that, right?
We're still in the Old Testament, aren't we?
I don't think Jesus is going to make an appearance.
So they called him Samson, right? And he grew up, right? Never cut his hair. His hair made him strong, right? He was going about, he was helping people out, he was stopping wars and that because he was so strong. His hair made him strong and that, apparently.
Yeah.
Anyway, nobody knew that. Nobody knew it was his hair that did the job. So this is right so far, isn't it?
I don't know the ins and outs.
So anyway, what happened is, women are loving him all of a sudden. He's got nice long hair and that, he looks the part, he's stopping problems. Women are going, he's a good fellow, isn't he, this Samson bloke?
Like Stringfellow.
Anyway.
That's the power of pulling, is in Stringfellow's hair.
Yeah.
That's why he never cuts it.
Exactly.
Whatever the decade, Peter Stringfellow never cuts his hair, because that's where the power lies.
Anyway, he didn't realise he had this power until one day, he got up, right, did his hair and that, went out, a lion jumped out.
Oh.
He killed it with his hands, with his bare hands.
Wow.
Right? So again, Noah was a bit annoyed, because that's one of the ones that he saved. But anyway, right, so he goes, I can't believe this power I've got, right? I'm gonna, like, sort out the world's
Didn't
problems.
the lion have long hair, though, as well? Well, no, well, just what?
No, but, you're always picking on to be honest, though, that's as far as I got, anyway. So...
Okay, I think we've got to turn this show round.
Right.
Carl's been holding this together, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's Carl's beautiful naivety and, can I say it, Carl, in the nicest way, stupidity
Yes.
that are keeping the listeners...
I wouldn't class it as stupid.
I'm only joking. I'm only joking, mate. Of course you're not stupid. Everyone knows you're not stupid. You're sincere, and that can sometimes be, you know, frowned upon in this cynical world.
Would you say you've learnt stuff from me in the past few weeks?
Definitely. Definitely. Rather like a scientist learns from like injecting mice.
Yeah.
No, but I've learnt from you about ants and stuff. I think every week, as weeks go on, I feel like...
We're learning from each other.
I'm learning more now than I did when I was at school.
And can I just clarify?
Yeah.
You weren't raised as an experiment and you've escaped from a laboratory. You had regular upbringing in Manchester and that.
Yeah, I didn't go to school much because my mum and dad had a caravan.
Right.
They're the ones who listen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Your girlfriend does, doesn't she? I imagine.
She's been away for ages.
I know.
I imagine she just switches off after a while.
But you know, we love you, don't you? We're excited. We talk about you in the week, and we think you're great. So don't just think we're using you as
cheap comedy material. I'd hate you to think that, Carl.
I think I'm really lucky to have had it, really. Because a lot of mates who I had didn't have enough money to go on holiday, and they just get a present for the summer holiday.
Of course, they've got an education, so it swings.
Yeah, but Carl, the thing is with Carl is, right, I want to give him gifts.
Yeah.
I want him to have the loveliest Christmas ever. I want him to go pony trekking. Do you know what I mean? I want to just...
Scared of horses.
So many things we don't know about Carl.
Fell off one out of fate, and the woman didn't know what to do. She couldn't handle the horse. It was running off. I was hanging underneath, getting a kick in the head. No,
really?
Now, hang on. What age were you? Because this could explain a lot.
I was about 6.
That makes a lot of sense.
But also, right, we were playing football, so I can't play football, right? And so we were playing
Was that just in the office, or?
Yeah, just in the office before he came, right? And we were sort of kicking it back and forth, and I started kicking it a bit hard. And but he was quite good. I said, this is great, right? And we finished anyway, because we thought we'd break some. And I went, I bet you were quite good at football, weren't you? And I actually thought he looked like quite a natural, I thought he'd be good, he's from the north, and I thought that's all he'd have.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
And he went, I said, I suppose you're quite good at football. And he turned, the quick as flash, I went, I've scored once. Right? He said, and that's because I was being chased by a bee. And I went, save it.
Yeah.
He went, no, I said, please save it, because I wanted to tell Steve that. No, you can continue now.
Please tell us the rest of the story. You've scored a goal once
Well,
because you've been chased by a bee.
Yeah, you've done it now, really. I was on the.
There must be more to that story, Cayman.
I was in the school team. I wasn't that good as a kid at football, to be honest. Mainly down to, I think it's because my dad wasn't into football.
Right.
And I think that's the way it works, isn't it? If your dad's into it, then you could be a footballer when you're older.
Sure.
Yep.
Because you're into it. And so I was in the school team because I got on with the other lads. They let me in the team.
Popular guy, yeah.
Sure.
And yeah, I was stood there doing nothing because I didn't really know what to do. I never knew which way I was meant to be shooting.
Yeah.
Got all that messed up.
Yeah, that is a
I just stood there, right, and with my hands behind my back, and something landed on me, on like this part of my thumb.
You can't just point, it's radio.
It's this bit here.
Right, yeah.
The
base of
fleshy
your thumb,
bit, the
yeah.
fleshy bit of the thumb, yeah.
And I thought, oh, what's that? And I looked down, and
It
it
was
was a
a
bee.
thumb. Oh, it was a bee, yeah.
It was a bee on me. So I start running, try to get away from it, and bees, actually something interesting about bees, more chance of getting stung by a bee in windy weather than any other sort of weather.
That's incredible.
Anyway, so I'm running away.
And he said there was no more.
Extraordinary. I've already learned many things. You're being chased by the bees,
So
windy.
I'm running.
It's on your thumb, is it still on your thumb now?
It's sort of gripping onto me like a stag beetle.
Clever.
I love his. Oh,
Or a bee.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm running, and I'm running towards like the goal.
Yeah.
Oh God! And the ball comes to me.
Yes.
Wallop, get it in.
Brilliant. What happened to the bee, though? Did it sting you?
They die, don't they?
I mean, ultimately it died, sure, but at that particular moment,
I
did
mean,
it sting you?
this was probably about 20 years ago, so I imagine.
No. Once a bee stings
So
you,
did
that's
it sting
Yeah,
you?
but did it sting you?
Yeah.
Right, that was the question.
When did it sting you?
When I was playing football.
Carl, do you mind me asking, you say you're on the school football team. Was there just 11 boys at your school? Was that how you got in the squad?
Listen, Carl. Oh, what I mean is, at what point in this story did the bee sting you? Straight away?
After
or
half time.
Play a record.
What was that illness years ago? Right, there was a couple of lads at our school
Oh, yeah.
had really big heads
Right.
and webbed fingers.
And webbed fingers.
And
Sorry, wait. Was that? Hold on. Did you find him in a pond? Did they used to be little tadpoles?
no,
Carl, you're not
seriously.
confusing your past with an old episode of
No,
Doctor
no.
Who, are you?
What were they called? These two?
I didn't mix with them.
Right.
It was just like. Of
course not.
There was nobody thought anything of it at school because
No,
like,
sure.
you used to it.
Yeah, it's the north.
There goes the creature from the Black Lagoon again.
yeah.
He is brilliant at trigonometry.
He's late for double maths.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't think anything
What
of it.
is it called? What is the disease called where two fellas, are they
Not even related.
rubbish?
Not related.
Were you near a nuclear power station when you were growing up?
Yeah.
You weren't really?
Yeah.
God, this explains so much.
This has got a
I
bit
don't
heavy.
Same thing happened when I was at school and I had to play drums in Little Donkey. I didn't tell my parents, right? But my dad turned up anyway. And what happened?
He
How old were you, Carl?
well, it was the school that I used to go to.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
secondary-
yeah. You went.
secondary.
Well, you used to go to the school you used to go to.
No, but what I mean
Go
is,
on.
I didn't go to secondary, did I? So I missed a lot of that.
Sure.
But primary, I liked.
Oh,
it was
okay.
all colouring in and stuff.
Yep.
And it was a Christmas play, and I managed to get a part in it. And
Did you audition?
got a part in it, and I should have been playing the drums to the one about Kings.
We Three Kings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was meant to be doing that, but Little Donkey came on, and it was one of the.
What do you mean came on?
That was like next up on the next song,
Right.
and it's one of them songs that you can't help sort of.
Tapping along to.
Yeah. Do you know like if I was to go
Yeah, you'd have to finish it with.
yeah. Do you know that they actually send that into space?
Do they?
And
What, hoping that aliens will respond with that?
yeah, they do that because apparently it is one of them things that you can't help.
What, even if you're an alien life form?
Yeah.
They know that, do they?
Yeah. But anyway.
What, because they watch Star Trek or something?
No. Knock, knock.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Is it true, like, if you
who's
send
there?
out knock knock into space, yeah, they have to say that.
Oggy, oggy, oggy. Oh, that is great.
Seriously.
Oh, hold on, what's something out there? What's a little green fella? That is great.
Yeah. So anyway,
That is
Little Donkey is like one of them tunes that you can't. And I was there, and I had the drumstick, and I thought, oh god,
The drumstick.
I could feel myself. And anyway,
Just wanting to do it, yeah.
I started going along and playing Little Donkey, which I wasn't meant to do, but it went down such a storm.
What, were there people like parents and that dozing off, and then suddenly they heard your version of Little Donkey, they thought, wait a minute, now it's really picking up.
What do you mean?
I'm glad we paid £1.50 for this.
What do you mean it went down such a storm? They're going, hold on, was it like when
People have
Ringo...
lighters in the air.
It was like when Ringo joined the Beatles, now going,
Yeah.
boo, Pete Best, but he went...
Yeah,
and they went, whoa! Oh,
No,
God.
but the teacher just said, oh, it went down really well, you can do that again tonight,
Right.
when you're in it again. But anyway, so my dad was there,
And you hadn't told him about this performance, so
no,
he
I
just
never
turned
did.
up
I
off his
never
own
did.
back.
I never took the letters home and stuff to,
No.
you know, show my mum and dad, because it just put me off. So, anyway, he turned up, don't know why, he must have heard from someone else's dad.
Yeah.
He turned up, and he swore about me, which...
Did he?
I don't...
Can you,
What?
could you
do
use
think
a word
it's allowed
that's...
to be said? The word?
Of course it is.
Right. If you got a kid in the car or anything, you can turn it down now. can't you?
Yeah.
Right. But he said, there was a guy stood next to him with a camera, big video camera, filming it, and he said, "Yeah, film it, but try and avoid getting the twat in the hat in the shot, because I had one of those porters, you know, the little round pork pie hats on.
Right.
This is so
What?
sad.
What, was this a nativity play?
It was about Jesus and stuff.
Yeah, well, there was a porter there helping him with his
Of course
bags.
there was, I forgot.
I
yeah.
mean, Mary and
What,
Joseph,
managing the
they got
stable?
there. Yeah, because
Sure.
it was the hope, you know, because the inn was full.
Yeah.
But I think the porter doubled up with the inn and the stable.
Right, that was nice.
So
of
he,
him.
yeah,
He
yeah,
carry bags over, yeah.
yeah, no, so yeah.
You're right though. I don't know why I was wearing one of them, but I was. And
And your father said that, and how did you know your father said that? Did
he
you
told
hear
me
it?
about it later.
Oh, he told you about it later?
Yeah, I was talking about stuff I'd done at school, and he said, "Oh God, remember that?" And I spoke to him the other day about it,
Right.
and yeah,
Oh,
it's a
God.
shame.
So
Have you
that was the end of your sort of drumming career, really? Because it could have been, I mean, you know, the audience loved it the night before.
Yeah.
You could have, like, been, who knows, a whole new world for you.
Yeah,
Have
that
you
is.
done any stuff?
I've never drummed. I wish I had, man. I wish I
But
had.
that is.
Do you not care about the job? I mean, I've got to ask because, you know what I mean, if I was in charge, I'd worry about your motivation or... Because yesterday we were trying to work out what you enjoyed doing, and we got to Manchester United and moaning. And that is the two we came up with.
I don't know where you get the moaning thing
You're
from.
always whinging.
About what?
Everything.
When? When did I last have a moan?
Just before we came on air.
Right, and why was that?
I don't know, I can't remember. Because
Well,
we were in good mood. We were in a good mood, me and Rick.
I'll tell you why.
Go on.
Because you brought a song in at 10 to 1
Yeah.
with a load of effing and jeffing in it and saying, can you edit this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's your job.
You could have brought it in yesterday.
No, I couldn't.
Why not?
I hadn't thought of it. But why are you whinging? That's your job. And I didn't come in 10 minutes before. It was a good 20 minutes before. It just took you ages because you were whinging and moaning to even get started.
Been very quiet week. Been checking, I was looking in books last night and stuff. So
Is there any monkey news?
I've got some, but just because it's not that good, something else I found out that I thought I'd share with you.
Go on.
I was looking in the Guinness Book of Records, right, because I thought they'll have something in there about monkeys or something, right? And there's a little monkey, I think it lives in Asia, right? There's loads of them live in Asia.
Might just be travelling, but yeah.
And something I found out, I don't know if they've got it right, and that's why I want to bring it up. Apparently, it's the mammal, right, that's got sort of the pointiest eyes that pop out of their head. Steve. Now, the thing is, right, I thought that's interesting.
Yeah.
Apparently it's the biggest with the sort of goggle eye type thing.
Right, yeah, go on.
Apparently they come out of their head 1.6 centimetres.
1.6 centimetres? What do you mean, they protrude?
Yeah, they protrude from the head at 1.6.
Okay.
What? How long?
Have you got a ruler, Rick? 1.6.
He's having a go.
I'd say I'd be a little bit annoyed if the monkeys beat me.
Well, I don't think it has.
That's what I'm hoping.
Is there anything we can... I mean, what's 1.6? Oh, can you...
It's about...
Drop your trousers.
It's, about 3/4 of an inch.
What do you think?
I don't know.
Have they got it right, or what?
Maybe I should come down to Monkey World with you next week.
So anyway, so that's not the monkey news, that's just something that cropped up, and...
Sure.
I do know once, when we were playing pool in the office, I think Lucy was your partner.
Yeah.
It was me and Ash versus you and Lucy, and you were having trouble because his glasses kept slipping down. So Lucy pushed his glasses up his nose, but the glasses touched his eye. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He started it. He started it.
Well, you're the one who joined in.
No, I know, and I feel bad now.
Yeah.
He makes me nervous when he goes, yeah. It's like, play a record.
No, I'm just trying to think about which part of your fat, middle-aged physique I can pick on.
The tits would be a good
Yeah,
start.
yeah.
Oh, the belly.
Sure.
Oh, what do you think of that?
Oh, that's... What is that?
Yeah.
Before we carry on with anything, I should just tell you, we're on the subject of emails. There's one emailer we're always looking forward to hearing from.
Richie Anderson! Dicky Docky Doo!
Richard Anderson, thanks for emailing.
He's my biggest fan.
He's
now.
one of the biggest
he
fans.
Absolutely loves me.
But not afraid to offer some constructive criticism.
Go on,
That's the
what's he
great
said?
thing about Dicky. And from Anders this week, he says, Ricky, I'm lazy, I talk nonsense, I'm badly organised, and I believe in ghosts. Can I have a job working on your show? Possibly, Anders. Maybe send in a CV. Or email a CV.
He's put a little bit of all of us in that, hasn't he? Oh, I'll ask him if he's a goggle-eyed freak, Steve.
Alright, calm down.
Well, no, I didn't mean...
there's no need to get insulted.
No, I didn't necessarily mean you,
no
did
need
I?
to get nasty.
Well...
I was thinking about that, actually, Steve.
Oh, God.
Just talking of the old,
What?
What?
Talking of the what?
No. Do you know, like...
This better be good.
No, you don't have that many girlfriends and
What do you mean?
Carl, why are we on this? I was defending you in the whole monkey discussion. Come on, what's your point?
no,
What's your point? What's your point?
No, what's the point? What's the point?
I just was thinking...
If there was an infinite number of Steves?
You're an odd-looking fella.
Come on, Carl, get to the...
No, you know I know that. I've told you that loads of times.
What do you mean, you know I know that?
Well, there's no point pretending anymore.
Steve, I'm flabbergasted.
But also, you don't like spending money, right?
He's mean and weird looking.
Valentine's Day.
I'm gonna... Oh.
Are you sort of, you know...
You've got to love him now, haven't you?
What are you happier with? The fact that no girls like you enough, right?
This is really mental.
Or are you happy because you don't have to spend any money on a card for someone?
A little from column A, a little from column B.
Right, let's have more monkey news. What have we got?
No, we've got
so much to get into this show. Insults,
We don't need
stupidity.
the insults. I think we've got enough. We don't need the
Yeah,
insults.
there's no more insults. No more
What
insults.
angers me with Carl is, you know, he's been planning that.
No, I haven't. I was thinking about it on the way in because Valentine's Day is coming up and I'm not a big fan of it. Right?
Condoms?
You bought your girlfriend a box of condoms for Christmas. I don't think you can have a go at me. To be fair.
No, but I don't just treat her on Valentine's. I'm always... Do you know what I mean?
You don't even treat her on Valentine's. You don't even treat her at Christmas or on her birthday. When do you treat her?
Hang on a minute. Wait a cotton picking minute there. Oh, why I order. Wait a minute. What was that? Tiffany dog.
I treat your girlfriend better than you, and I've only met her twice.
Neil, you know, quiet. I thought, that's good. He's not going to complain about the noise and that. Sit down. I have some arrabbiata, which is nice and that.
Alright.
Anyway, he starts, sort of normal chat, saying how he'd like to put my head in a vice.
Sorry, he'd like to put your head in a vice?
In a vice, yeah.
Not really.
Sort of normal, sort of.
Yeah, and I was just thinking that it would be lovely to put him in, you know those vice that are sort of attached to workbenches?
Yeah.
Just so, not to, just put it in there so he's caught there, and then I can sort of do paint his head or something, or feel it squeezing. And I just imagined sort of squeezing it too tight, didn't I?
So he's saying all this, right, which I'm getting the sort of picture enough without sounds, right? But then he thinks, well, why not add sounds? It's quiet in here, right? Start sort of going, so your head's in the vice, tighten it, and you're sort of going, right? So he's sat in a chair, quiet restaurant, doing that. It's like the scene out of When Harry Met Sally, right? All these, like, tourists and that sat there sort of going, oh, Ricky Gervais over there. And then suddenly, like, from a look of like, oh, that's good, it's Ricky Gervais, to what the hell is going on?
But I just imagine this little head, because what he do, I just imagine him in a tighten, I go,
Is there any other radio show that's ever been on Radio 2 that has had this discussion?
Well, no.
Does Johnny Walker, OBE, ever say, I'd love to put Terry Wogan's head in a vice and see what happens?
I genuinely, I really, it does frustrate me that I don't get any allowance.
It doesn't count as a disability.
Well, it does count.
No, it doesn't. It's not a disability being 6'7".
But how can you explain, for instance, you know, travelling on a bus or a coach? There's some things I can't say.
The only disadvantage is, people look. I've seen people stare at you, but they stare at me because I've been on the telly. What's that a disability? People being recognised.
Yes, but you could avoid that by not being on the telly. It's your choice. This is my point. It's your choice.
Yeah,
it's the same as the big fat people. It's their choice.
It's a different sort of stare, isn't it? I've been there.
Yeah.
When, you know, the sort of stare that you get and the sort of stare that
well, obviously I'm gonna, sorry Steve, but I'm gonna, you know, follow up this inquiry. What do you mean, Carl?
No, I'm just saying it's more of a stare of fear than, like with you, they go, oh, it's him.
Yeah, go on.
Whereas with you, it's more like, jeez.
Where's the monkey news?
Mr. Wilkerton, hello, it's Dr. Hanrahan. Barry Sheen has just passed away, and you go, oh dear. Yeah, bad news and good news. Do you want his face, or do you want his face?
Does Suzanne go out with you, like, for charitable reasons? Is it like you can adopt a boyfriend?
I love the fact that she encourages you.
She was saying about Tom Cruise, and I was like, oh, you know, she said, you know, he's not a bad-looking fella or whatever.
So, well, what she's saying is, Carl, is there any chance you could go and get a different face? Maybe something like Tom Cruise would be good.
Then I was saying, right, first of all, he's got to be dead and he's not. But if he was, and you had that done, would you feel like...
People looking at you on the tube?
Well, no, like, say if the people who made Mission Impossible said, well, we want to do a third one, would I be in me right to say, well, I don't want to do it?
I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't mean to be offensive, Carl, but your girlfriend could do a lot better than you. I don't know what you're thinking.
I love the idea of this whole conversation about you in Tom Cruise's face, and then get offered a film.
But why does she have conversations like this with you?
He was now on last night. He's now on the telly.
I love it. What should we talk about? What about getting a new face? Oh dear. Oh, that cartoon. If you don't know what Carl looks like, there's a cartoon that was in last week's Heat, isn't it, that I drew is on the website. What's it going for now? Bid?
I think it's at about 225 quid at the moment.
And what do they have to do to bid for it?
Just email in and I'll pass it on to the website people.
I know why Heat put it in. It's because the editor, Boyd Hilton, looks a little bit like you, doesn't he?
Sort of my ugly brother.
He's probably listening, and he says nice things about you.
Yeah, he can still say nice things, but I bet he knows deep down. You know if you're good looking or not, don't you?
I can't believe
Come on, Steve. I mean, what do you think?
This is going crazy now, Carl. I don't know. You're just, the insults are flying left, right and centre. You've got no limits. You've just gone crazy, just gone wild. You're swanning around just because you look like Tom Cruise.
I think it's because he's been hanging out with Christian O'Connell.
Yeah.
And they're both thinking, yeah, we're...
couple of media players.
Yeah.
Too big for their boots.
Yeah, not scared. Although he's scared of Christian.
No, he's terrible.
He's scared of Christian in here because he's not allowed to do monkey news.
No.
Because Christian wants to do it. He's scared of him.
I'm not saying that, right? Christian...
We've made him what he is. He was nothing when we found him.
He was like work experience.
And now he's going, oh, we should start off with the story of France. I'm going...
Trying to tell you what to do,
If I want anyone's opinion, I don't. Basically.
But you'd probably come to me, I imagine, wouldn't you? I'd be the first person.
Before Carl, I'd consult you, Steve.
Thank you.
Just keep it... Just because he was in the... Was it Pilkington making music? Pilkington's making. I bet you never pleased a crowd once.
Did. Loads of times.
Go on then, what did you play? What's your biggest gig you ever played?
I did, like a social club gig.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just about the music either. I used to.
What else could it be about?
I used to take prizes and cigars and stuff.
In a youth club?
To give away.
I just love these, like, 14-year-old manx hanging out going, let's go down here, you might have some fags and cigars for us.
Well, it was whatever, like, was on my mum and dad's dressing table.
That could have been embarrassing, couldn't it?
That could have been deeply embarrassing.
Oh, yeah. Oh. You've won.
And third prize, some handcuffs.
And a black mamba. I'm not saying that at any point in your upbringing, your parents left around any kind of marital aid on the dressing table. Don't think I'm saying that, Carl. I'm not suggesting. Like, he doesn't like this, does he?
Well, I can understand why.
Oh yeah, because it's about
his parents having sex.
Well, they must have.
Yeah,
at least 3 times.
I think I was an accident.
I still have had sex. Carl. I think it's been ongoing. I just never liked any records that with a hint of novelty about them.
They are popular though. They're floor fillers.
I hate them.
You haven't done DJing, have you?
Exactly.
What do you mean?
Singing on the other side of your face.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
And you didn't play Dexter's Midnight Runners?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't plan it out that much when I did it. It was like, I knew I had the tights and cigars to give away.
Yeah.
Which he stole from his parents' bedroom beforehand. Yeah. Why were you giving away stuff at a disco anyway? Why weren't you just playing records?
Because people liked it, didn't they? If it wasn't...
It hasn't changed. We're doing this. We talk rubbish, we play records, and we give away crap that we found.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed, has it?
And, so I had some good times. I mean, for people who haven't been listening all the time, it was called Pilky's Making Music.
Yeah,
Colin Making. It was like Pilkington, and my mate was called something Making, and the music was what we played.
Yeah.
Right? And I had some cards made, had some nice blue glossy cards made, but they were quite expensive.
Yeah.
So I used to hand them out, and then they'd say cheers for that, and say, no, write it down. Write the number down, I want that back.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Because they were quite pricey.
Yeah. Classy businessman there.
I
think Richard Branson used to do that.
I think so, yeah.
Saved a bit of money, because my dad made some lights for me. He just like...
He said he made them, he found them in a telephone box. People were making phone calls in the dark. Round the neighbourhood.
Exactly.
It was just white bulbs in like a box, and like my mate making, he used to just flick them on and off, like the thing, and then they'd be in time with the music and that. And,
perfect.
Well, you had to sit there and
I love that. I love that. We got a sound to light system. What's his name? Colin.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Right. So.
Did you ever rent him out?
Right, well, we never had any disasters, right? But my mate did one, right? And I don't know if it's that funny, really, but it. Well, that's tell you anyway, right? He was doing this gig, and it was probably one of the biggest gigs, right, that he ever had. Must have been a couple of 100 people there. Yeah. And in like a big sort of warehouse thing. Anyway, for some reason, there was some problem with a big speaker that fell, right? So, the police turn up and stuff.
Right.
And they try to control the night, and they're going, can everyone sit down? We try to control it, can you sit down? So anyway, you get a few, like, little groups of people sitting down on the floor, and people were still stood up, and the police were saying, look, you know, we're going to cancel this whole night if you don't all sit down, and more people are sort of sitting down. It's going on for about 20-odd minutes, right? Will you please sit down? And it gets to this point when there's just one lad stood up in the middle. And he's going, look, you're ruining it for everyone. Will you sit down? And it goes quiet for a bit, and someone's muttering something. And he goes, the lad standing up has got calipers on his legs. Can we have a round of applause for the kid?
Who said that?
It was this lad who was doing the DJ. He was the DJ. So, like, the police and everything were saying, well, you sit down, you're ruining it for everyone else.
Dear. You know, the quick way to sort that out would have been to play upside your head.
Yeah,
or sit down. Yeah.
But most of mine were, I had good nights.
Yeah.
Always got rebooked and stuff. And someone here who I work with, right, I'm not going to say they are because it doesn't matter, but they were eating space cake, right?
What do you mean by that, Carl? Explain.
What's a space cake?
For people who...
It's some sort of druggy cake, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right?
A dope brownie or whatever, yeah.
Right.
So with cannabis in it, is that what you're saying?
I think it's something stronger than that, isn't it? I don't know. But anyway, he was having this space cake,
And
you better give me the name now, Carl, because I've got to report him.
no, listen.
It's only no.
It really doesn't matter.
No.
Is it Sturgis? Was it Claire Sturgis?
Yeah,
She
let's say
wouldn't
it
bother.
is.
She's gone on to hardest. She doesn't bother with those.
she's just
It doesn't do anything to her
Straight
now.
to the vein, yeah.
So listen, right? So he's at a party, right,
Yeah.
with his mates, and they're listening to the Star Sailor album, right?
Right.
And he's sat there, and he's had some of this cake,
Right.
and he's listening to the album, and his mate's sat across the way talking to someone else, right?
That's weird.
The album's on, and he thinks to himself, this track's going on a bit.
Yeah.
And his mate across the way, who's talking to someone else,
Heard him say it.
and he goes,
Yeah.
yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he goes, oh.
Right.
And he goes,
See, usually at this point, I say, had this bloke taken drugs, but you started the story with this bloke
no.
had done some drugs.
But since,
right, Rick?
No, if he was here now, right, he would say, yeah, I know it sounds mental.
Yeah.
But it happened. And it wasn't just a one question, it wasn't just like, oh, this track's a bit long, innit? Yeah, it is.
He had a whole
was
conversation.
A whole conversation with the guy. And
Yeah.
But sorry, I just want to clarify. You mean he had the whole conversation telepathically?
Yeah.
Right. He didn't just shout across the room.
And they've recently met up and, like, they've sat there and tried to, like, work out what happened. And it's never happened
presumably they
again.
don't have to talk at all anymore.
Yeah. Why did they meet up? Couldn't they just like in their own homes? Just stay at home.
Do they have to have that cake before they
Yeah, before
start
they have
having
to
a
chat.
conversation? Hold on, wait a minute, lads. Why are we using our lips?
Yeah.
This is using way too many oh, take them. There you go.
My only question with that is, being skeptics like Ricky and I, whenever we hear a story like that about the paranormal, the first thing we always look for is maybe some other explanation.
Yeah.
Maybe one vague idea.
Lying.
Could be lying.
Chinese whisper.
As I think you pointed out, there are drugs. It's often an issue as well.
Madness.
Yeah.
Fear. Delusion. Sleep.
Yeah.
You know, there are so many things you go through.
I'm gonna go with the drugs
before your dead grandmother
exactly
pops into the equation for me.
Go with the acid.
I went out with a drink with Carl in the week, and we went to a restaurant, didn't we, Carl?
Good night.
And we sat there, and next to me, when Carl came, next to me was what's his name? Ross Kemp. And he was sitting there, and I saw Carl, and I tapped him on the shoulder, Ross Kemp on the shoulder, and I pointed to Carl and him and I said, it's nice to see you two back together again.
Nice.
And Carl was horrified. But Carl didn't know that I'd already spoken to him before Carl arrived.
Yeah,
so I thought it was okay, I thought I could break the ice because I'd met him before.
Sure.
So he just thought I was insulting him. And in the week we were talking about his little head, weren't we, Carl? And Carl suddenly stopped the conversation and said, if I had hair, what would we be talking about now? I think he had enough of everyone talking about it. And he looked good though, he had a special little do, he had it sort of, you know, cropped a little bit more. I like it when he's just freshly had it done. Do you like? Yeah.
Has that ever happened to you, Steve? If you're somewhere, say if you sat somewhere, does someone sort of, you know, is he anyone else who you look like, or would you say you're a bit of a one-off?
I love these two.
But to be fair, to be fair, he seems to be having a go at me an awful lot more than I do at him now. I mean, he just starts it, you know, starts it out of nowhere.
I think his is sort of a get back for the way you treat him as a producer, not, you know.
But he's not a producer! If he produced the show, I wouldn't have a reason to criticise.
I think this is it.
But seriously, I mean, it really winds me up though, because, you know, it started as a joke, but now it's abuse.
Yeah. He got annoyed at Heat because it said Carl's producer, well, not so much a producer as just a bald mank. And he went, can they say that?
Yeah.
Can they say that?
See, that's a magazine, an independent publication has identified what exactly it is you do.
Yeah.
There we go then, come on, bring it on, because here we go, he's looking at me, I know he's thinking, I can hear the cogs
I'm not thinking anything.
It's
no, that is true. Never a true word. Play a record. Here we are then. We're back. XFM 104.9. Carl had to leave early last week, but you stay to the end this week, mate, or...
Yeah. You don't need another holiday.
Oh, he started already.
I mean,
Steve's made you look like a bit of a twat already, and it's only 1:05.
But the only reason you don't go on holiday is because you have to spend money.
Oh, and he's gone straight back!
Well,
he's gone straight back!
I can't come back to that. Oh, it's just dynamite. It's just absolute. That was searing.
Last holiday Steve had, he sort of found a third world country so he could live like a king for a week. It was Cuba, wasn't it?
Going to Cuba, amazing. You can almost rule the place. If it weren't for Castro, I'd have been in charge. Kind of cash I was flashing around. And they do anything for $1 over there. It's extraordinary, literally. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah. Oh,
definitely. And I went to Kenya before that.
So he thought to the prostitute, said no. You were going.
Yeah, well, it was $2. I mean, I'm not made of money.
My New Year's resolution is to be nicer to you, but
well done.
Sense.
You've already broken that.
No, but talk sense. Talk sense. You've had 3 holidays this year. And I'm just saying, you're in your 30s now, and 30s is when you should be really putting the work in.
That's true enough.
To reap the benefits in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 100.
Karl, what's your New Year resolution? What about think before you speak? It's worth, I mean,
see, I'm allowed to laugh. I'm allowed to laugh at things other people say, Karl. That one, that is a good suggestion. How was your holiday, Karl?
It was alright.
Right, brilliant.
But that, I don't see, on the ratio of, good to bad in Karl's mind, that might be amazing, because we never hear him sing the praises of anything.
I'll tell you what, can we have, you know, a cracking little tune, and then come back and hear about Karl's holiday?
I'd love to do that.
Let's keep it tight.
I can't believe. See, you're like
But
me.
people always say, why'd you get so angry? Your New Year's resolution should be calm down, chill out, you know. But how can you chill out when this stuff's going on?
What's your New Year's resolution,
well, no, just
Karl?
with that though, I mean, surely people are allowed to, like, have a chat if a film's got subtitles.
Why?
Because you can read it, it doesn't matter about the noise.
That is the most stupid thing I have ever heard in my life.
No, I'm
I
just
mean,
saying,
that really is the most stupid thing I've ever... So go along with your iPod on.
Yeah, take a ghetto blaster.
Well, yeah, you could if you can multitask. I mean, that would do my head in, having music, and I don't know what to sort of concentrate on. But if it's only like reading a book when you're on a train, innit? You've got noise around you.
What are you talking about? These films cost millions of dollars. Everything's perfect.
The music, the sound effects,
the whole montage, this mixed and someone comes along and goes, oh, I might as well talk to Gavin on my phone. Well, I was reading it anyway. You're an idiot. You're an idiot, Karl. I think your New Year's resolution should be less stupid.
No, I'm doing, I'm going to try and learn something new every day through 2006.
What have you learned today?
Well, I did a lot yesterday, so I'm having a day off today. but no, you know, just well, I did, didn't I? I did the Bible stuff and that. So I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, we've got that coming up.
What's your New Year's resolution? To be less annoyed.
I suppose I should be more tolerant of others.
Do you know what Ricky said his is going to be?
What?
It's going to be more annoying.
Yeah, well, I just thought.
But this is a wonderful hypocrisy of it, because you've just been agreeing with me about how you hate people who are annoying.
Yeah, but only to friends. People like. The thing is, right. I've got to say a couple of things, right. The reason I sort of torture Karl is because I don't know. I've got friends with defects. I don't know why. All my friends are slightly weird or stupid or something wrong with them. Karl's little round head. I mean, the brain of a fish. Right?
Yes.
I can't get my hands off his head. Robin Ince, he's got glasses. He waddles funny. He's got little thumbs. His thumbs are too short. Right.
Sure.
I can't keep my hands off him. Right. My mate Rob, who did flannels with me, he's got a perfectly round head. His teeth protrude slightly.
He's in America though for when you need a round bald head, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. When I go to New York, or and he looks a bit like Dave Hill from
Interesting
Slade.
that you're collaborating on a book, but he chooses to live in America.
No, yeah, but could I just say also that I do not advocate the use of vices on friends' heads. It's dangerous. Do not squeeze your mate's head in a vice. That's just between me and Karl, and you know. And
Gervais is an experienced annoyer,
and he probably wouldn't let me do it, to be honest. I have to offer him an awful lot of money. Also, do not smoke. There's no point. And floss. I wish I'd flossed when I was a kid. Also, if you've got a bicycle or anything like that for Christmas, please wear the correct safety gear.
Whoa.
What?
Well, I got a bike as a kid.
Yeah.
Right? And my dad, you know, I think the helmets used to come with them and what have you. I popped it on, went out on my bike, coming back into the garden. Dad sees me. He said, "Come here." I said, "What?" He said, "I never want to see you wearing that helmet again. You look ridiculous."
A little meeting yesterday over lunch about, you know, planning stuff for the show, and Gary Kemp came up to me, started having a little chat about old times, and I went, oh yeah. As he went away, Steve said, right, think of this, he said, Rick, don't take this the wrong way. Remember that sentence, don't take this the wrong way. So there's a right way and a wrong way I could have taken this comment. He went, nodded to sort of Gary Kemp and went, he's aged better than you. I went, well, how could I take that the wrong way?
Yeah, it's not offensive.
No. Well, the point is this. He didn't know me 20 years ago, so he's actually saying, Rick, don't take this the wrong way. He looks better than you do.
Yeah, well, he does.
But why say that, Carl?
What?
Did you really say that?
Yeah, although, can I just backtracking for a second? I love the fact you said you bumped into Gary Kemp and you reminisced about old times. What old times did you share with Gary Kemp?
Well, no, he came up and said, did we drop the pops together? I went, no, I did Razzmatazz. I said, oh, we did Razzmatazz. I think he was thinking, had he ever met me before? But he hadn't, because we hadn't. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
but if you had to make an objective analysis...
I wouldn't. I think that's out of order.
Sure, sure. I mean, you're always slagging me off, but apparently you can't make a value judgment on something else. No.
Wouldn't do that.
Well, because you're morally all over the place. You don't know, you don't know where you're coming and going.
Leave it.
Yeah.
Leave it.
Sure. You should do what I say about you behind your back.
So, would you say you're better looking now than you were? Or...
Than I'm what?
Would you say you're better looking now than you were?
Than I was when?
Well, like, have you aged well?
Yes.
You've aged well?
Yeah, I've kept my looks.
Bit of Dando.
You said that your New Year's resolution was that you were going to learn something every day.
Yeah.
Have you learned anything today?
If I can. Today, like, I don't know the full facts of it, but...
Could I just say that when someone says they learn something new every day, that doesn't count if they forget it the next day?
No,
because that'd be Groundhog Day learning.
Well, the thing I learnt today was about an octopus.
Oh,
Go on.
What they can do is, they've got 8 legs and that.
Yeah.
They can use 6 of them legs to cover their head so they look like a little stone, and use the other 2 to run off. Right? But that's
he's thinking of Squiddly Diddly.
Yeah, it's a Disney image in his head, isn't it? They're pink.
But anyway, that's
So
that's
it's
not the
Pink
main
singing
thing.
a song in your mind and running off. Yeah.
No, but anyway, something else I learnt, right? It's mainly about animals and that, because that's normally quite interesting.
Yeah.
There's a chicken somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Specific.
And the owner of it was getting fed up because, he had to feed it and that, but it wasn't...
Embellishment, guesswork.
No, come on, let's hear it.
It wasn't giving anything back.
No eggs.
No eggs, right? So he was like, oh, I'm sick of this. Anyway, someone told him, pop a little axe next to its little house, right? So when it comes out in the morning thinking, oh, I'll have another lazy day doing nothing, right? He saw this axe, and suddenly it was like, oh, right?
I'm
Next
for the
day,
chocolate thought, yeah.
it laid about 6 eggs.
It's rubbish.
Through
Squeeze them
worry.
out
It's
super
rubbish.
quick.
The chicken wouldn't recognise an axe as a threat. It wouldn't be able to reason that, I better start working, or I'll be meat. I better start. It's absolute rubbish. Once again, it's this ridiculous thing you got that one personifying animals to reasoning powers better than yours. I mean, I think, you make chickens and monkeys cleverer than you in your stories, which is weird, okay? It didn't happen and wouldn't work. Next! What else haven't you learnt today?
No, well, as always, things like that always get me thinking.
What
right?
else haven't you learnt today?
No, hang on,
Carl?
he's got his mind's working now. This
Go
apparently
on.
has got his mind
so
working.
that's rubbish.
Well, do you think then that it's worth looking after animals then if there isn't any memory? If they don't know what's happening anyway, you're always going on about don't be cruel to things.
Yeah, why would you be cruel? There's one thing about imagining chickens can reason, and because they can't, being cruel to them. Why does it matter whether an animal can reason or not for you not to be cruel to it? The reason I don't like blood sports isn't the fact that there's a fox missing. It's the psychology of the people that get off on seeing an animal ripped to pieces. They wouldn't like it if it was a robot. They wouldn't care. For some reason, in their psychology, they like this sport. Why does it have to be a sport? They're not culling. They're not putting things down for a good. They like to see this fox ripped apart or a bull tortured for their own pleasure. That's why you shouldn't do it. Why would you ever want to be cruel to an animal, whether it can reason or not?
No. I mean, I don't mean really cruel, but I mean like there's an advert on that's on in the in Britain, advertising some supermarket, right? And it's saying, we look at before we kill our chickens and what have you. They have a great life. This is like the voiceover, and you see Happy Chicken.
Yeah.
And it's going, we give it a good little house to live in. It's got straw.
Yeah.
It eats good.
Yeah.
And then we kill it. Right?
Yes, well that's better, isn't it?
Well, no, I don't think it is, though, is it? Because at the end of the day, if I was that chicken, right, I'm that chicken, loving my life. I can't believe me luck, right?
Well, we'd be pleased, because at least he'd be able to do the show, and we'd have some interesting conversations.
Yeah.
So there it is, right, wandering about. It's got its nice little field that it's working on.
Yeah.
It's got its nice food and everything. But it's going to die.
Yeah, we're all gonna die.
But then, if you were like a rubbish chicken that had like a rubbish life, you'd be going, "Oh, kill me."
Carl, they're not thinking what's gonna happen tomorrow.
They don't know that they're gonna get for the chop, are they?
A chicken's not going, "I'm fed up with this. I can't wait for that axe to be used on my neck."
Yeah. Well, that's another. Now you've mentioned the cutting off of an head, right?
Yeah.
On the chicken. That's something else I've learned, right?
It's like a pinball, is mine.
Amazing.
Isn't it? Ding dong, bong, dang, ding, ding, da, da, oh, head, ding, ding, chicken, head off, bing, dong.
No, right, but this was in a proper science magazine as well. Right?
Yeah.
So you can't have a go. This wasn't something on the internet. This was printed in a magazine.
You read it.
Okay, and what was it?
And here comes the filter. It's going to come out nonsense.
Right, well...
You could have Professor Stephen Hawking sitting there whispering stuff in your ear, and it could all be true, but when you said it, gobbledygook.
Well, let's see then. Let's see, right? What they've done another experiment, right?
Yeah.
They've cut somebody's head off, right? And you know how they used to do it in the olden days, where they'd put your head in a stock, cut it off, for whatever reason, right? You've done something wrong, right?
Yeah.
And the question that everybody used to talk about in the village was, you know, "Oh, I made eye contact with it," right? And it was a bit worrying because he was looking at me and he looked fed up and that.
No, he's dead.
So they've put a bit of work into this, and they've done it again somewhere, right? And they've worked out that when the head comes off the body, it stays alive and that for 30 seconds.
Well, no, they don't know that. They can never know that.
No, they did it. They did this experiment.
What's alive? What's alive? But there's loads of issues here. One, no one's experimenting with human beings cutting their head off, Carl.
Well,
two, no.
So you read this in what? Executioner's Monthly?
This is in
no,
a
two,
proper...
Carl, it's what your definition of alive is. Because you can be alive and have no conscience.
No, but this is where it gets weird, right?
Yeah,
I haven't told you that.
this is where it gets weird. You talking about it.
So the head's off, right?
Yeah.
And what they did was, they chucked a load of questions at it.
All sanctioned by the government.
Yeah, this is all fine.
So the head lands perfectly on the neck and goes, "What do you want to know?"
And it said.
So they're asking questions, and it's going, "Do you know what? To be quite honest, I'll answer your question. I'm a little bit annoyed about the execution still."
Well, that was the interesting thing. They said it's about...
No, it's not. It didn't happen, Carl.
Let me hear.
Oh, don't talk.
Let me hear it.
What are you talking about? There's people around in white coats going, "Quick, ask it a question. It's bleeding."
Right. So they said for about 25 to 30 seconds. The last 5 seconds, it is sort of like can't be bothered answering them.
Right, but prior to that,
apart from that, they were chucking stuff. I don't think it spoke. I don't think it was like, 2 and 2, 4 and stuff. It was more, it was to do with blinking.
So blink once if you say yes, blink twice.
So I told it, said, "Listen, when you die, you're probably not going to be able to talk because your jaw's going to be on the ground. You're not going to be able to open your mouth. If you do, you'll fall over backwards and hit your head. Now listen, blink 1 for yes and 2 for no. Yeah, right, yeah, not too bad. Yeah, is the axe nice and sharp? Yeah,
promise,
you're
do you
talking
promise?
shit again."
You promise to do it? Yes. All right.
Well, yeah. The thing is, they wouldn't be able to do it with you, because if they cut your head off, it would just roll. It would roll away, because it's perfectly spherical. They would go, "Oh no, there's
Plus,
no..."
it takes about 20 seconds whenever you ask Carl anything for the question to process and for him to start to formulate an answer.
Anyway, if people listening and that, if they learn anything, that's amazing. Just send it in, because,
Because it'll come out gobbledygook when, Carl tries to translate.
Alright. This is Yak. Hope you're enjoying this compilation. This is David Bowie's Starman. Halfway point of the compilation. Enjoy the second half. Cheers.
Now, it's intriguing to me because here's a film called Freaks, featuring real-life freaks, and you're sort of a bit nonplussed by it.
Just because it's built up. If you call a video Freaks, you've got to make sure that there's some good stuff on there.
Yeah.
What were you disappointed about? Was it that?
Because there was a few things on it, right? There was a woman who said she was half man, half woman, and it's like, well, you're not, are you? It was just like she had some makeup on. I thought, well, that's rubbish. And then there was a woman who could eat using her feet. That isn't that freaky. Do you know what I mean? If she's not hungry, she looks normal. And that's when I was thinking. I mean, I'm not being right, Steve. You know I'm not being funny.
Oh, here we go.
No. But I'm just saying, if that woman wasn't eating and you were sat next to her in that film,
yeah,
I'd probably be sort of drawn to you more than her. I'm not. I know you hate me saying it, but there's no point sort of pretending. Do you know what I mean?
Oi, Muttley, what are you sniggering about?
Well, you mean there were things in it that were less... What are you saying?
I'm just saying...
Play a record. Seriously, I'll slap you. I'm gonna slap you live on air.
Yeah, but you always get...
Right, I'm slapping you live on air, I swear to God.
I can't put my finger on it, but that doesn't sound like the original. And it's off a compilation. It sounded a bit fast. I think the vocal was slightly different. If anyone can, you know, put me out of misery, I think it might be in a session of the time or something.
Carl, is it a New Year resolution for you? Another one. Maybe when we ask you to get a song, get the original single version.
I could be
and
wrong,
not some
but
obscure session.
Yeah, it does seem different, doesn't it?
Very odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we just remember it wrongly. But anyway, that's XFM for you. 104.9, I'm Ricky Gervais with me, Steve Merchant. Karl Pilkington. Karl, you went to Lanzarote. People said don't go to Lanzarote. They told you it was Lanzarote. They told you, were they right or wrong?
They were right, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's a bit ropey, yeah.
Is it? Why?
Just, out there. If it wasn't for the volcano they had, they'd been knackered.
That's their big draw, is it?
That's it, basically. That's all they've got going for them.
When you landed, was it really hot? Initially, were you quite excited? You were thinking this is okay?
It was warm. It's, you know, we can't complain about the weather. The weather was alright.
Sure.
You know what I mean? That's what I went for, but it'd be nice if there just was something else.
Yeah.
What did you do all day then? Did you read your ritual book?
No, I didn't read that. I read that book. Do you know the book that I bought and all the chapters were messed up?
Oh, yeah.
I bought a better version of that.
Alright.
And I read that.
Excellent.
And then,
Did it make more sense in order?
yeah, a lot easier to follow.
Yeah.
And then we went and had a look at the volcanoes and that. They've got 36 of them to look at.
How many did you look at before you realised that you know, pretty much, you've seen one volcano, you've seen them all?
Probably about 6 or 7.
Really?
Yeah.
And then when you got to the 8th, you thought, now I know what this is going to be, Suzanne. This is going to be like a mountain with a hole in the top.
Yeah.
Really?
But it happened years ago as well. It's like, just keep a couple, fill the rest in, tidy it up.
Fill the rest in!
Yeah, no,
Well, getting some builders.
No, seriously though.
Okay, 4 million tons of concrete, please.
They're an absolute death trap.
Yeah, what? Yeah. What do you mean, fill them in? Do you know what a volcano is?
Just a hole, isn't it? That's happened.
Well, it's more than the hole. It's more a portal to the magma in the centre of the Earth.
Back in 1730 it happened, and they still haven't sorted it out.
Well, when you say it happened, volcanoes were made a lot longer ago than 1730.
No, but the one that did Lanzarote in.
Right.
Sort it out.
What would you suggest? How can they fill it in? It's joined. It's all joined.
No, but what I'm saying is,
the big plates of the Earth are all joined. All the magma's joined.
With the trade centre thing, that happened. They cleaned it up, sorted it out, they've moved on. That's what I'm saying. Whereas Lanzarote have just gone, leave it. It happened back in 1730.
You misunderstand me. How, in the name of God, can you fill in a volcano? You ignorant twit.
No, but it's not just the holes. They've actually left the lava everywhere. That's what I mean. It's not just the big holes. There's lava everywhere.
But it's molten rock. They can't just pick it up like they're like a carpet.
Put it in the holes. The holes are there ready. Just push it all in. That's what I'm saying.
So, what exactly is there then? Is it just a kind of moon-like kind of surround with just kind of dust and rock?
That's exactly what you see. I was there when the Mars thing went wrong.
Yeah.
I would have just sent a camera crew there, filmed a bit of that, right, and say, here we are, this is it.
Yeah.
Ignore the little coffee shop in the background, right? This is Mars, because that's where it's like just loads of dust, holes everywhere. Tidy it up.
Little round-headed aliens complaining. It's just like Mars.
Yeah.
So, is there what's the best bit about the holiday? Come on, pretend you're Judith Chalmers.
I have been doing. I would have done all that. I would have said that. Don't bother. Right. I mean, the hotel was good.
Yeah?
That was alright.
What was that like?
It's alright. Just, you know, clean. That's all you want, isn't it?
See, that's not quite what Judith Chalmers does. She doesn't go, what's the hotel like? Alright, yeah, clean, innit? Alright. What was it like? Was it, what was it? 3-star? 4-star? Did it have a swimming pool? What was the room like?
Yeah, had a swimming pool and that.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's good. You know, I think it was one of the better ones on the island.
Okay.
Nightlife?
Wasn't really, and there was a bar, there was some bands playing.
Yeah.
Not very good. Food got a bit boring.
Yeah.
It was always the same food every night, but they sort of themed it and made out as if it was different. So, like, on Mexican night, it'd be chicken with a nacho on it.
Right.
And Chinese night, sort of chicken with a little prawn cracker on it and stuff.
Sure.
But that got a bit boring.
That's me just turning on my phone, because I want to read to you a text that I got from Karl. I think you sort of sum up the holiday in this text, don't you? Do you remember it?
Can't remember.
Let's have a look. Let's have a little look. Let's
Instantly, what did Suzanne, your girlfriend, make of it?
Uh,
Similar view to you, that they should fill in the holes?
Yeah, it's just that thing, you see, I went on a coach trip, right? And you go and see the volcanoes. Like I said, there's 36 of them.
Yeah.
Which, you know, how many do you need? And when we're on the coach going round all these volcanoes, the fella on the front's going and, look out your left window at the moment, and there's a volcano. And, if you quickly look out at the right-hand side there, there's another one.
Right.
And on the left, it's just like, alright, we've seen it.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that trip, I mean, we'll talk about that trip in a bit.
Right, this is the text I got from Karl, right? Alright. Been up to a volcano. Been in some dead artist's house who built his house in the lava. They said they would show me science with volcanoes, but all they did was chuck some water in a hole and it shot up in the air. No dwarves in the canteen, no scousers here, but there is a Swede woman with a big head. She looks effing gormless with a cap on. Alright? So a little reference there to...
A Swede woman?
What's that mean? Do you mean Swedish?
Yeah.
Or she looked like a vegetable?
The Swedish woman. But they've all got sort of quite big built, aren't they?
And I sent him a text. Oh well, it's just good to be on holiday because you know I'm working. He sent back. So am I. Just been watching Sky News. There is a school for monkeys who want to get a band together.
Is that monkey news related?
It's happening again, Steve.
What's happening?
It's going all wrong.
Yeah.
We're talking rubbish.
Are we?
Yeah.
We should have played 2 in a row.
He's having a go, isn't he?
Blimey. Can I just kiss and make up with Karl?
No, that is...
No, let me just kiss my kiss.
Yeah, but it doesn't next week it'll be the same again. It doesn't mean anything. It's like saying sorry.
Oh, on the lips.
Go on, he's like...
Get
I've never... Karl has gone a absolute shade of purple, straining not to have merchants...
There's no point, Steve.
No.
There's no point.
No, just shake and make up.
Shake what, Rick?
There you go. All friends, sit down. That's lovely, that's a lovely moment. So there's Steve Merchant with funny glasses on in this place horror and he's walking round. Do you think he scared people, Karl? I've set this question out, haven't I? I've loaded the question.
I know the answer you're fishing for. Karl, do you just want to have a dig at me? Because it's coming up to 2 o'clock, and you've not really put a lot of effort in today, slagging me
I
off.
don't do it on purpose.
No, he doesn't do it on purpose. He's just an honest northerner, and he can't lie. He's like George Washington, but without the wooden teeth.
Yeah.
I don't think your heart's in it anymore either, Karl.
I was alright today, but Steve's really dragged me down.
Well, let's...
Wait a minute, I just need to know why.
No, do you know, like,
Yeah.
people are being miserable around you?
Yep.
I was full of beans when I came in.
Yep.
Yeah, but you got to remember last week, you were really miserable, and that really wound me up.
Yeah, because he was done to do stuff. Because, you know, he'd been let down and they were worried about the next
week
show.
you were in a terrible mood.
Yeah.
Look at me like you were.
Songs, I wasn't like going off and lying on the settee looking ill, talking in that voice.
Oh, he's done you again.
I said just now, being quite friendly. Yeah,
Karl,
Steve.
Karl, have you ever tried to get into the Monarch for free? Because I'll be honest, mate, it's not going to happen for you. Come out with me, mate, you got a quid off. Alright?
Oh.
When you can get in places in Camden for free.
Yeah, I'm alright, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's done you.
He's so ungrateful, really.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember a time my dad bought me anything. It's always my mum who bought it, and my dad would give her the money.
Yeah.
You got Ricky who's lost his go-kart. You've had a video bought for you and you're still not happy. I just think it's selfish.
150 quid? What, on gift vouchers? To spend at the same places? I'd have to say, though, I mean, it's not a very inventive gift, is it?
It's
Whoever came up with it,
though.
it's a lovely thought. It's wonderful to have £25 that I can only spend in 2 places I never go in. But, no, I'm not looking a gift horse in the mouth.
Any
I'm not
ungrateful, anyway.
looking a gift horse in the mouth. It is a treat.
He spoke to Jonathan Ross like he was a normal person.
From someone whose dad buys him a spade for Christmas, I thought you'd be grateful.
What do you make of fears that dumped Britney Spears? She's been dumped by her boyfriend. There's worries that she may be cracking up, Karl. You concerned?
What are the signs?
Well, I'm not entirely sure. I'm just reading from this section, but I would assume that she's obviously showed signs of depression, maybe?
She'll be alright. I remember, like, you know, Zoe Harris, when she sort of got bored of me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Get over it, I don't even think about her now.
What, and how long did it take you, to get over Zoe?
Zoe Harris.
How long did it take
To be honest, right, it was like one of my first girlfriends, and she was a pain. I remember I went out with her because she wouldn't stop hassling me, right?
Yeah.
I remember...
A good reason to fall in love with her.
Oh, go on then.
I never talked to her, and then the bit that really got me, I thought I half liked her, and then I remember, right, we were at a school party, sort of infant school.
Infant school?
Right.
Are you sure it wasn't junior school?
Well, it's on the cusp.
Yeah.
Like, when you're about to leave infants and go to the next one.
Yeah.
And she was crying because
You were saying, I don't think we should move in together.
She was crying.
She was crying.
Oh, was she?
Had you
She
stolen
must
her
have
milk?
She must have been nearly 6. Why didn't she grow up?
No, she was crying because somebody had stood on a dress and put a bit of an hole in it. And I said, oh, for God's sake.
I can't stand it. Oh,
So
God.
you,
I just think him.
so you gave her a slap.
I just think of him, he's like 6, like with clogs and a flat cap, going slightly bald, going, for Christ's sake, woman, come on.
And, in all the time he was in charge, 50 million people died.
So that's 1918 to 1945.
Yeah.
Between
It felt like that.
Between Travis and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Next week. That's fantastic.
That's remarkable. I have to say that you sort of lost your grasp somewhere along the line, because you started off confidently, but you lost your way.
I've had a really busy week, and last night I was like whizzing through it.
Sure.
And then this morning I woke up, and you know, Suzanne had been away for about 3 days, right?
Yeah.
I hardly spoke to her. She's been busy, I've been busy. First thing to say when I wake up, oh, just ask me some stuff on Hitler.
You old romantic.
Yeah?
I'm getting a bit bored now, though. This is what happened in school.
Think of the listeners.
Did really well in infants. Once got to secondary, lost interest.
Was it the breakup between you and Harris?
And Zoe. I wondered if you spiralled into something there.
Yeah, because it's like all these other, you know, these men of history. They always had sort of things happen in their early childhood, didn't they? Maybe yours is the Zoe Harris dress incident.
Well, let's just refer to it as the Zoe incident.
Yeah.
From now on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Winston Churchill, the bit I left out in the Hitler story, Hitler was scared of this man.
Yeah.
And I can tell you something else about Winston Churchill.
Go on.
He said he can remember being in the womb. And he was born in a public toilet.
No.
What do you do in your leisure time?
I like, you know, going out for food and that.
Right. Foraging? What do you mean going out for food?
going
They come have a little hole and go
Go hunting.
Yeah. This is Karl. He's hungry. He knows he has to get to the greasy spoon by 11. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Many of Karl's close friends have never made it across this road.
There was a zebra crossing installed just for the safety of Karl. Beep, 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 beep. Can I have a bacon butty and... Karl is enjoying his... Wow, but he has to get back.
His girlfriend's out for one as well. She's home with a PlayStation 2.
Wow.
I like little interesting bits. Like,
Sentences.
Atlantic Ocean. It's got 17 quadrillion gallons of water in it.
Right.
Well, that's interesting without having to read a book. And
Why is that interesting though? What are you basing that on? When you think of 17 quadrillion,
It's a lot, innit?
What are you imagining?
Just like a big wave. Imagine how much water.
Yeah.
Well, what's your subject then?
His head is perfectly circular. I put a coin on it, and and only the ears popped out from behind the coin. Isn't it perfectly round, isn't it?
I mean, when you've been saying I've got a round head, I was a bit like, yeah, everyone has, stop having a go.
Yeah.
And then I saw this picture last week, I thought, God, he's right.
Can't we just pop it on the XOM website?
I'd rather not.
I'll go on, just get
Steve,
someone...
have you seen that man in a jar without a brain?
Sorry, you have to, is that something, is that a product you can buy?
I can live longer to eat more cheese and beer.
Do you exercise, Carl? Do you do any exercise whatsoever?
I used to go to a gym in town, but it wasn't the sort of, the hard work of doing the, you know, the stuff. It was just like, it was like 60 quid a month.
Yeah.
I thought, well...
Crazy, isn't it?
That's not good. So I just got out of my way to sort of walk everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Instead of jumping on a bus, like a nice day like today, walking to work. Or, you know, run up the stairs.
You're skinny though.
You run up the stairs.
What?
You're really skinny though.
No, but I do eat a lot of, like, crappy food, so I reckon, I mean, what did they say? When you get to 30, it all just... You go mental, don't you?
Yeah, they say that, play record. That's the philosophers, isn't it? When you get to 30, you go mental.
No, I mean-
Descartes.
Yeah, I think so,
I
yeah.
know.
Play record.
Means that, you know, where will it lead? Where will it end, Carl? Are you concerned?
I've thought about this a lot, because...
What will us three look like in the future? If they're being, you know, genetically modified beautiful people, what will we be like? How will we be considered in society?
True, yeah. But we've talked about this before, haven't we? About, the cloning thing.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But, I don't think it matters, because at the end of the day, right, you might look like some other kid, but it's the way you're brought up that will change your features and the way you are, you know, your personality.
If you lie, you get a long nose, don't you?
Well, no, but listen, right, because I remember when we, you know, I was growing up on this estate.
This is gonna be good. Go on.
No, it's not. It's just an example of how this doesn't work.
Go on.
So we don't need to worry, sort of thing.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
So, growing up on this estate, and there was this woman about 4 houses down, right, who's a bit rough. Alright?
Didn't fancy her.
Oh, God, no. Right, but she had a
Why?
baby.
Well, tell me about her first. I'm interested in this woman. Why was she?
It was a
She
very...
looked like a man in a dress.
I mean, I didn't grow up in a posh house or anything, and I'm not saying that if you live in a bit of a rough house, you're a bad person.
What did she look like?
But anyone can
Tattoos?
clean up.
Looked like Tony Green with a fag on.
They didn't clean up much, right?
Oh.
Which, even if you've not got a lot of money, you can still try and make a place look nice.
Yeah.
Right? But she didn't, and a kid used to take a horse into the house.
Sorry. Whoa, Neddy. What do you mean a kid used to take a horse into the house? When did you get a horse?
Must have nicked it from somewhere. Must have done.
You've seen a horse in it? No.
What, is that from outside the saloon round the corner?
Yeah, was it just tied up with a bit of...
Right?
Oh, that's great. Did Big Jake come looking for it?
I'd been out.
Oh. Sorry, let me get this. This was before the lynching stopped or after.
It was, they did this thing at school about raising money for charity, right? For some local charity. And they said you can do anything to raise money, and they came out with all these ideas, and I thought, that's good.
What was the charity?
But I don't know, I thought, forget the charity.
Yeah, that's just a good money-making idea.
So,
you're a charity.
So, so I asked me mum for some, cause she used to have a lot of flowers around the house.
Sure.
I said, can I just take some snippings off them? And, I'll go and buy some plastic cups. And, got some soil out of the garden, planted the bits of plants in them.
Yeah.
Got a tray.
Yeah.
Had about 25 plants on it, selling them for 25 pence each.
Excellent. Did you sell any?
Yeah, so loads.
So did you just cut, you didn't just cut them and stick them in the soil?
Yeah, they want to survive.
Oh.
But I think people sort of thought, well, good on him for trying. But anyway, so I went round to theirs, because I thought their house could do with a bit of colour and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a bit rough. So as I went
The horse went, thank God for that breakfast. They've been feeding me kitty cat.
So I got up to the door, and they opened the door, and it was one of them houses where no carpet.
Yeah, a horse in the living room.
You know.
We've all been there.
And the horse was walking around the living room.
Oh.
I looked quite happy and everything, because I always say that about animals.
Black Beauty was on. Yeah.
Well, think about it, right? If you were a horse, where would you rather be? In a little wooden hut with a load of hay, or in like a house with a
central heating,
3-piece suite, and a telly and that?
Telly and that.
No, but I was saying this the other day.
And an Atari,
right? I was walking through London.
Commodore 64, rubbish.
Exactly.
Walking through London with Suzanne, right? Yeah. And you know, like homeless people always have dogs. And she said, oh, I hope she looks after it. I said, that dog is happier than most dogs.
Right.
Because people always walk past and give it a pat on the head.
Yeah.
It's with its owner all the time.
Yeah.
It's out in the open, it's not locked up in a house.
Yeah.
It doesn't eat, but other than that.
No, it does eat, though, they're always alright. So that's what I was saying, I think this horse was doing all right for itself. Do you know what I mean?
Well, not many horses have got their own house.
Exactly.
For a start, yeah.
But anyway, that's
That's
what
by
we
the
were talking
by.
about. Yeah. So anyway, this family, who's a bit. What we were talking about, it was about cloning.
Genetically modified kids and all that stuff, yeah.
Right, now what I'm saying is, you could say, you know, right, Steve, you could have a baby, right? And Ricky could see it and say, God, I want one that looks like that.
Yeah.
Right?
It could happen, Rick.
So...
Come on, work with him.
So you take it to the doctors, and I don't know what they do, they inject it with something or whatever.
Yep, that's how it's done.
Yeah.
And, get a little baby, and there it is, it looks the same. Now the thing is, you separate, you both go off and do your own things.
Yep.
Right? Now, you look at Stephen, you look after your baby.
Yeah.
You treat it well, you give it good food and
I'm
that.
a good dad.
All the vitamins and stuff.
Yeah.
Ricky just gives it cheese. Right? So, then it changes its looks, it goes a bit fat. You know, it gets tired easily, and that sort of thing. Now, when this family...
Why am I just feeding a baby cheese?
Right, this family had a horse in their house.
Yeah.
They had a little baby. And my mum went round and said, "You're not going to believe this, but it's a beautiful looking baby." Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you know. And the weird thing is, it was a good looking kid. But as time went on, they didn't really look after it. And I'm not saying, like, abusing it, but it used to run around, it used to play out till, like, 10 at night.
Yeah.
It used to chase cars.
Right.
It was a bit...
Did it have hooves?
Yeah, no. Chase cars!
Right.
What sort of kid chases cars? Oh, God.
No.
Was it called Rover?
The weird
Did it catch sticks?
It's Liam, it was called, right?
Right.
Now, the weird thing is, it was a good-looking kid, but as time went on, and all that, like, not eating properly and its hair was all patchy.
It's not Liam Gallagher, is it?
And chasing cars and that, and it became an ugly kid.
It's definitely Liam Gallagher.
And that's what I'm saying, right? You can clone all you like, but at the end of the day, it's how you brought up.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Whoa. Wow.
That was a hell of a point.
It's one of them things, isn't it? Like I've said before, when you first see something, it's a bit of a shock. Do you know what I mean? It's like the Elephant Man or whatever.
Yeah.
First time you see him, it's that sort of, oh, look at that.
Do you remember the first time you saw Steve? No, I'm not being funny. Do you remember the first...
Yeah, but I've said this before, it's always, then you get used to how people look, and you don't... No.
I'm gonna burst. You have to play a record.
No, but...
Because that's... Do you know what I mean? It's brilliant. I'd like to rent you out to people.
See me, I'm different. I would happily leave him now in the bottom of the cupboard.
Until quiz
with the
night.
Scalextrics.
Until the old pub quiz night, when there's no one else who will have you on the team.
Sure.
And suddenly you want to be your best mate.
Done him again.
Right?
Yeah, where's his mum and dad then, Carl? Yeah?
In Bristol.
Yeah.
Do you know what Steve said when he saw that, Carl?
Go on.
He said, it has captured Carl.
What do you mean?
Well, you just look utterly gormless. In the pictures. It's captured you brilliant. You know how, like, a good photographer can do that? You can capture the essence of someone. That's good stuff.
An invigilator, would it? That's the thing. You can't use that one with an exam board.
Carl, have you ever logged on to Friends Reunited? It was the site that everyone was talking about last year.
No.
Are you aware of the concept?
I've heard about it, but there's no one from school who I'd want to see
Hook up
again,
with.
really.
So basically, for those that don't know, you have to log onto his website, and then you can it helps you track down your old schoolmates if they've also logged on and stuff. And we took the liberty, really, of looking on the Friends Reunited site and typing in your school and trying to track down any of your old mates. We didn't get in touch with any of them, don't worry.
We didn't do that.
We're not going to surprise you with them now.
No.
But I was just interested to know, like, some of your thoughts on some of the names that I could run past you. I mean, these are people from your year. Just tell me if you recognise the names. Alison Birch?
I think I remember her.
What's your thoughts on her?
Don't
be libelous.
Don't be like, no.
No. Posh, probably did pretty well in history and that.
Sarah Morris?
God, yeah. Remember her.
Go on, you're grinning, what's the thought? Go on.
No, just, she was alright, she was a popular one.
What does that mean?
She was nice.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, what about Darren Buckley?
He was one of my best mates.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What do you reckon he's doing now? Do you still keep in touch?
When my mum and dad were still in Manchester and they had a butty shop, he used to go in because the bookies was next door.
I love the way you paint a picture.
If
you did this in your history exam, Carl, you will walk it.
Go on. So your parents had a butty shop. There was a bookies next door.
Yeah, and he liked having a bit of a gamble, so he used to. I think he works for some insurance company.
Do you think that his fiancée Beth knows he's got a gambling problem? Or that his 2-year-old son Lewis?
No.
Yeah, they live in Cheadle Hume. Cheadle Hume.
He must be doing well.
He's still supporting the Blue Army and frequents the shrine on a fortnightly basis.
Funny thing with him is, right, when I used to stay over at his house, and his dad was a copper, and I remember his dad came down and said, right, I want to see you two. I was like, oh God, what's happened? And got us round the table. And he said, do you know much about drugs? So we were like, what's all this about? So he goes, you know, they're not good for anyone, you know, the stupid thing to get into. And we're like, yeah, we know. And he went, you know, do you? We said, yeah. He said, what's this then? And he'd found something in his bedroom, and it was a Skittle.
What, the sweet?
Do you know little sweets with the S on it? And
oh, really?
Drugs.
Yeah.
So he said, well, yeah, it's a Skittle. Yeah, I know what it is.
He was bluffing like that as a slang word.
Yeah, he thought because he was a copper, he probably had to be down with all the terms and that. So we said, oh, it's a Skittle. And he said, yeah, I know what it is, but what's it doing in your bedroom?
Oh.
And it was like, no, it's a toffee. So, Darren,
yeah, I know, it's a toffee, it's a squib, it's a, yeah.
Carl, more people from your past. Debbie Carr?
Yeah, she was another nice one.
What does that mean? Is that a euphemism?
No, she was one of them that you'd sort of go, she's nice, but she'd never be your girlfriend. Do you know what I mean? She was,
not really.
Even though she was in the same year, she seemed a lot older.
Right.
And
like, wasn't a teacher, was it?
There was 3 of them who all hung together, and they seemed to hang around like the older kids, the ones who looked like men. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What did you look like then?
Well, it's just that I had youthful sort of looks, whereas like the older ones had like beards and stuff.
It's the gang of boys in the 5th form with beards. Were they smoking pipes? Going, come over here, me filly. Oi, Debbie Carr, come over here, you little beauty.
No, but she was like...
I love that. Hanging around with beards. There's the big boys. Oh, fishing. That's lovely beards. What do you
I
mean?
just see a whole row of George Bernard Shaws. Brilliant.
How do you do in history, boy?
Yeah.
Think on E. You're an idiot.
They were like, you know, I'd be there sort of punching people in the arm.
That's a great game.
Oh, I love that, punch people in the arm.
Is that part of the Olympics now?
it's I think it was exhibition this year.
Right.
But it's
going to be a pro next year.
It's going to be the Winter Olympics because you've got to do it in just a cap sleeve shirt in winter. Yeah.
So you're also playing that?
She, but whilst
But she didn't appreciate that. She used to go, ow!
No, I always think whilst I was doing that, they were like the Charlie's Angels and they'd be sorting out a mission somewhere. Because they were really like, there was something about them that you thought, you know, they're special.
They were private detectives.
What do they work for a man they never see?
Okay, well, here's a name I'm interested in, because, well, let me just tell you the name first. Adam Clifton. Oh. Go on, what are your thoughts on Clifton?
He was one of them kids, he was alright, but he had that thing when, if you didn't have enough milk, he had, like, wrinkly hands, and... like white bits in his nails.
Oh,
because he didn't have enough milk.
Yeah.
So therefore, you didn't like him because he didn't get enough milk.
This is not to be confused with the 2 people with the big heads and the webbed feet, is it?
Webbed hands.
Well, this was interesting.
I know that they weren't related. They must have been somewhere along the evolutionary sort of trail. Do you know what I mean? They must have come from the same sort of stock.
But no, you wouldn't have liked him. It's just one of them people. He was all right, but
before you say any more, on Friends United, you can leave a little message which explains what you've been doing and what your life's like now. And most people leave maybe 2 paragraphs. Right. Adam, I've printed it off. He seems to have printed. I think there's about 6 pages here of stuff. He keeps updating it, and he just basically lists his memories about everyone. Okay, at the school and what he thinks of everyone. And he says, I often see Simon. He's doing all right for himself. Self-employed illustrator. Mark Cooper. Karl Pilkington.
Right.
And your name comes up. Now, I don't know if you've told us this story. I think you may have done, but I can't remember the facts about it. It just says, Karl Pilkington, with his pet bird. Was it a magpie? I can't remember. He brought it to school to show everyone, and it flew away.
Oh, God! Oh, no, they do that, don't they?
3.
What was the story there,
You
Carl?
give them seed and they just leave. What do you mean?
Well,
This sounds like Kez.
Well, that's it. I was a big fan of Kez, and it was the time our dog had just died.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any pets, and the cats were always getting run over.
Yeah.
And so we didn't want any more pets.
Yeah.
But there was a magpie that used to fly about on the estate, and I managed to sort of tame it. And in the end,
With a chair and a whip. What do you mean you tamed it?
Well, just used to sort of hang around it and talk.
But how did
to
you
it.
get hold of it? Did you catch it?
Well, eventually, yeah, it used to just come to me, and the annoying thing was, it got to a point when I wish I hadn't bothered, because it used to pop me bike tyres. It used to sit on like, if I was talking to my mates and I was on my grifter.
I love the way he just throws things in.
It's like an Alan Bennett play.
It landed on my tyre, and it used to peck at the tyre and pop it, and then it used to then never go away, so it was always like around the house, and my dad said never bring it in. So it used to sit on the porch, and I used to go out, and it used to fly down and land on my head, and it really hurt. It used to like peck and stuff.
He thought it was a tyre.
So it wasn't so much tamed as a stalker.
Oh, God!
So you took it to school and it flew away?
Yeah.
So did you take it in proudly going, look at my magpie? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
no.
I think it got a bit confused in the area that it was in, because I used to just keep it sort of around our estate, but
Sure.
the school was a bit of a distance away.
How did you get it there?
So, carrying it on my finger.
Did you walk?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was happy there, and then it got...
But it used to be one of those things that people would stop me in the street and sort of go, "Oh, what's that?"
And
so
I don't suppose
Maggie, called it Maggie.
You didn't get Charlie's Angels to go and find out what happened to it? Investigate?
Were they impressed?
No, not really.
No.
But
Listen,
go on. Any. Like,
Carl, let's come back to it, mate. Let's come back to it.
Did you ever see the magpie again when you took it to the school and confused it?
No.
You're joking. That was the end of it, was it?
Yeah.
So where did it go?
Probably to some other kid. Because I mean, actually, it probably got killed. Because if it was being that friendly with other people, some people might have took advantage of it.
In what way?
Well, there was a programme on the other week about...
What, in the way that Shuffle both of them was trying to take advantage of you?
Well, there was a programme on the other week about bear whisperers.
Yeah.
And some blokes got really friendly with a bear, and then when they were leaving that area where the bear was, they said, "Oh, we've caused a problem here, because there's some bear hunters coming in and moving into this area, and it's going to get a bullet if it acts like this." So they had to scare it away, and that's what I should have done with Maggie. I should have terrified it a little bit, so it wouldn't trust humans. You know
Just
what I mean?
introduced it to some of your schoolmates, I'm sure would have freaked it right out.
Well, the ones with
Maybe
the
that
big
was
head-
why it fled.
It didn't see.
It's
Oh no!
weird.
It didn't see those two fellas with big heads and webbed hands coming towards it, did it?
That would have terrified anything. It's like a scarecrow, like two walking scarecrows. Listen, have we got time for a song for the ladies? What's happening?
Oh.
We've not really thought.
Quick
We've
then,
been
quick!
wittering
Just
on
do
here.
it! Just do it! Thanks very much.
Well, hang on, no, we haven't lined anything up, have we?
I was going to play Mary Lawson and that for you. And then
Is this going to be the final track?
It has to
Yeah,
be.
it would be, yeah.
We've blown it. We've blown it on the Karl special.
We have indeed.
I'll play it next week. So Karl there's got an E at history in GCSE. Any history teachers, anyone who can help Karl out, I think we should try and register him and take it this June. So
what's
thanks
your
very
homework
much
for this week?
listening. You've got to read about Che Guevara, haven't
Yeah.
you? The revolutionary leader.
Okay.
Do you know anything about him at all? Have you got any basis?
I just know that if you want to use his face on your business, it costs a lot of money. Do you know, like, if McDonald's wanted to have him as, like, instead of Ronald McDonald?
How does he do it? Steve, how does he do it, man?
Oh, we listen. Just play a final record, Carl. Say goodbye. Because actors are often quite handsome people, but yet they're always quite obnoxious.
We are.
No, I mean they're normally quite obnoxious, Rick. Again, you're a good example of that. And yet, I think it must be the small man complex. That's what makes them so obnoxious and so kind of desperate for attention. Didn't realise it before.
Steady on.
Because of course I tower above everyone.
You do, don't you?
I'm for people who don't know who are listening, I'm 6'7" tall. That's high.
Yeah.
That's big.
And for people who've never seen him, he doesn't hold it well. It's not like he's a sort of handsome athlete, is it, Karl? He's a bit of a what do you call him?
Carl, don't answer.
No.
Don't get drawn into that. You know the game he's playing.
No. Do you know yesterday when you were in the office?
Yeah.
You did a little move, and it reminded me of Blakey.
Oh, I hate you, Gervais. Oh, I hate you, Pilkington.
That sort of stance.
Yeah, but even he held it a little bit better, didn't he? Because he was a man, he had a big coat and everything, and a peak cap. But, yeah.
I can't believe you. Like, I've not suffered enough from being freakishly tall. Now, till my best buddies, live on radio, are just...
It's not just the height, though, is it? It's the posture and the face and everything.
But it's got your places, hasn't it?
No. What do you mean
No,
it's got me places?
I think people give you a bit more of a chance in your career and stuff. 'Cause it's like.
What? Yeah, stacking shelves. Because I can reach.
We were going to have a quick assessment of the year's events, because it's been a tumultuous year in many ways, Rick. You know, some steps forward. I'm sure you'll agree with the ban on fox hunting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I really can't believe it took to 2005. And then people moaning, we can't go and hunt fox. Oh, why not? You can't go and have a fox ripped to pieces. Oh, what do you want to do instead?
I never understood it, because it was people getting up in arms, and it's a sport for them. It's a game, so it's like you can't play Yahtzee anymore. You've got to play Guess Who. Well, alright.
And all this rubbish about, oh, well, you know, it's what foxes do. Oh, is it? Oh, but why do you like it? You wouldn't want a robot fox, because you want to see blood. My brother-in-law was doing this job, he's a driver, and he went to this sort of really posh school, and he was talking to someone there, who, they're into fox hunting and stuff, and he said, I don't agree with, just chatting to us, I don't agree with fox hunting. They went, oh, why, are you a vegetarian? He went, no, I eat meat. They went, you eat meat, but you don't agree with hunting? He went, why, do you eat fox?
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a ridiculous argument.
Are you pleased with that ban, Carl?
What sort of? I don't think, you know, we should sort of any animal, should we?
I totally agree.
And
yeah.
sort of, you know, respect their place and that. I mean, I went on holiday once, right? Went into the sea, right? Was only up to my knees, right? Got stung by a jellyfish, right?
Sure.
And what I mean is, like, you know, the sea. That's someone else's territory, innit?
Right.
And I could have had a moan.
But
I was like, well, I shouldn't be here.
Whereas if you went home and you were watching telly and a jellyfish came at you...
I'd say what's going on.
You would, wouldn't you? You would say what's going on, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You definitely would. If a jellyfish came out from behind your telly and clamped onto your face, you'd go, Suzanne, what's going on? What's a jellyfish doing? I don't go into the sea. But it's like when they, that bloke that climbed into a polar bear cage and got eaten, and there was a thing about have the polar bear put down. No, don't have the polar bear put down. You took him from the ice caps, popped him in a zoo, right? That's his house now. He didn't want to be there. Right? And then someone climbed in. I love it when a matador gets gored to death. I love it, because the bull didn't want to fight.
Happy New Year. But also this year, of course, we've had the gay civil marriages, or the civil ceremonies. I'm not entirely sure yet what this is. Do we loosely call it gay marriage, just for the sake of ease?
No, well, it's just it's officially a civil marriage, isn't it? They're not saying it's a marriage as such, because I don't know if the church acknowledge it or not, I'm not sure. We got enough vicars listening.
They can let us know.
Let us know, yeah.
But I don't know if you read it, I read it in the paper the other day.
But the church is gonna look nice, isn't it? The flowers are going to look brilliant,
really good,
aren't they?
But I don't know if you read the other day that I was pleased to read that John Inman, Mr. Humphreys from Are You Being Served, has just been involved in his civil ceremony with his long-term partner.
Whoa. John Inman's gay?
Yeah, no, I know. It's stunning, isn't it?
I know, unbelievable. I do like it when one of those sort of people that are so obviously gay, they come out after like years, like Elton John comes out and goes, actually, I've got some news. Sit down. Mate, just sit down, I've got some news for you. Oh, hello, Alan. Like your new pink tracksuit, by the way. That's what I want to talk to you about. I'm actually gay. And they all have to go, you're joking.
They gotta fake it.
No way.
Like when someone knows there's a surprise party for them, they gotta pretend that they, oh my god, I can't believe it. But,
yeah, so what we've had, it is a year of disasters, which is, it does seem worse this year. I don't, maybe I'm hitting that age where I think there was like, it was nicer before, but it was a year of disasters,
It's been terrible. Well, we've had obviously Hurricane Katrina and the tsunami and the earthquake and things, and it's obviously been terrible, and we don't want you to be flippant about that, but the only time I was praying for a natural disaster of biblical proportions was when I was watching Celebrity Love Island. and it never happened, sadly. And some of the dregs of humanity on that show, I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but Paul Danan is a joy, because he's a mental case, and I say that, I don't know if that's libelous, but, I mean, if anyone's seen the show...
What did you say?
I said he was a mental case.
Yeah, it's pretty libelous, I think, I think he could sue you there.
Okay, well, I'll take that back, but...
Take that back, he's not a mental case.
But he is, I think...
I mean, let's face it, before you, say anyone is stupid or a mental case, do the old binary sort, are they madder and thicker than Karl? If not, I think you know...
That means I can never accuse anyone of being stupid. But I love that he was talking about Lady Isabella Harvey, and he went, I love Lady Isabella Harvey, because, the thing is, like, she don't like books, and I don't like books.
Brilliant, they got something in common then.
The idea that something in common is something that they don't do together.
I love the idea that people like us were sitting around just praying for a big wind.
Just a big wind.
And the only big wind was from Rebecca Lewis.
It's tragic.
What's tragic?
What did you want me to say about that song?
Just your opinion. Your own opinion was fine. In fact, your own opinion is better than anything I could really hope for. Without doubt. Whenever I ask you a question,
you constantly surprise us.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So only ever carry on telling the truth, carry on saying exactly what's on your mind, and I think this could become a great...
You're like a man who was frozen in Victorian era and has been reawoken, and he's kind of discovering the world. Some things make sense, other things don't. It's beautiful.
As opposed to one that was made in a castle in Victorian times, like Steve.
Oh, that's just...
Oh, I've joined in with Karl.
I can't believe it.
I'm sorry.
On my side.
Yeah, no, it was irresistible though, wasn't it? I'm really sorry. Should we play a record? Yeah. So, we were talking about... should we play a record? Is that link too long already before we actually got to something?
I'm already bored.
Karl, we've got to get to something. We've got to do something.
Why don't you contribute something? You've been silent.
Now, that is scraping the bottom about
really is,
we're in trouble. Oh, no. Oh, we're failing. Who can we bring on that's surefire, always delivers,
audio dynamite?
Yeah. Karl!
The big guns!
Come on, Karl!
I was just thinking, there is nobody else who looks like Steve.
He's done ya!
That's outrageous! Although, to be honest with you, that insult has resurrected things.
Yeah, well done. Shut up!
They got 2 monkeys, right? And
don't stop!
Because they'd seen the owners with guns and what have you.
No, that sounds
So they had a bit of a shoot-off.
Yeah.
That's how they sorted it out.
And who won?
I think it was George. The one called George.
Right.
So I think they had 17 kids. The farm's still running. So that's like the last little monkey news there. Good little
Rick,
happy ending to that one.
If you were to rub your nipple against his lips while I held him down.
You're actually a little bit stressed there, aren't you? Because you had a drink last night, didn't you?
I had a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
I was down at Steve's night. He was doing a bit of DJing.
Yeah.
Went down the store.
And that's why you're all grumpy. What?
Do you hear what he just said?
What?
I was DJing last night, obviously that XFM evening.
Yeah.
Hour and a half. My friend and I split the time on the decks.
Yeah.
What was the word you just used?
He went down a storm.
We went down a storm. Right, 3 girls, I was walking to the toilets during my set, 3 girls went, "You are a genius." Right? What's his name? Dane Bowers, Zane Lowe.
Because you played records in a certain order?
Yes. Sorry Rick, if you can't deal with that. Sorry if you're a little bit jealous, because this time you can't share the award. Alright?
Dear.
But it was my credit this time.
You can tell he hasn't been a DJ. Because it's not just about...
It's not just about that.
The songs you play, it's the way you play them.
Oh,
the way you play them, whether it's 33 or 45, very important.
Yeah, leave your hand on them
Exactly.
as they're trying to go round.
What's your favourite song
But
of all
how
time?
could you do that? Because you haven't heard how that ended now, you see. I've just told you there what he was doing.
Because you've probably got it wrong.
I haven't. I know what happens
I assume everything you say is probably wrong.
There you go then, you'll never know. And that will annoy you now. So, other songs I like, Rod Stewart, Killing a Georgie.
Oh yeah, that's your favourite song, isn't it?
That's good.
Because it's, yeah.
What's the story there?
Just about a little gay fella goes to New York, because that's, like, I think it was in the 70s when, like, you know, if you were gay and that, New York was brilliant.
Yeah.
That was like, you know, where they all went and stuff. Had a good life there. His dad didn't, I think his dad kicked him out or something.
No, I'm sure you're thinking of, Small Town Boy by Bronski Beat. I'm sure you're getting all these mixed up just because it's another little gay fella, as you call him.
Anyway, he goes to New York.
He goes to New York.
He's having a wedding time.
Yeah, having a good time in the 70s.
Oh, you're right. His dad said, "How can a son of mine not be straight?" I take it all back. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And he goes to New York and that. They go out late, don't they? They have like late nights out and stuff.
What do you mean?
No, I just mean, you know, gays like to party and that, they know how to live, you know what I mean, they get the most out of life and that. Partying late. He was on his way home.
Sorry, that's such a general
Everyone goes out late and parties.
What do you mean they like to go out late?
No, it's just if you go in Soho in London, right, at like 5 in the morning, you think it was like rush hour.
But you assume anyone who takes a bit of pride in their appearance is gay.
Well, I mean, no, you can look after yourself and that without being a little gay fella, but I'm just saying that's what that song's about.
Can I just say, anyone's offended by this, he means no harm, he doesn't know, he knows not what he says, really. Everything from Karl is totally genuine, he's not having a go, you live and let live, don't you?
He's a bit like Mork from Mork and Mindy.
He hasn't got a prejudicial bone in his body, but go on then.
Yeah, so, and then because he was out late, he was walking back and sort of, it's a bit of a sad ending, he gets attacked and that, but it's a good song if you want a song with a story. Rod Stewart, Killing a Georgie.
Brilliant.
Manchester, place called Sale. Drove past it last week. Did you? We were up there doing some recordings last week, so I drove past Sale. Yeah, Racecourse Estate.
It's massive estate, and all the avenues are named after, race courses. So Epsom and Chepstow and all that. And I don't know. What do you want to know? I mean,
so it's you, your mum and dad.
Yeah, brother and sister.
They older or younger than you? Carl?
Older. And it was all right. Trying to think. It was just I just used to. What do you want to know? I mean,
was it like it was what it was? You just kind of, well, this is where we grew up, and it's kind of fine. Because I'm trying to picture you when you were growing up as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, what age are you talking here then?
Sort of like, you're 7 onwards.
7, right. So I think I've got a...
You sounded a bit angry, Carl.
No, but that's all right. No, 7.
Do I have to be really specific?
No, it's just like, if you were talking about being really young, it's like you have little flashes, don't you, of things, but that was going on.
Terrible memory, like going right back.
Yeah, but some people are like, I remember being breastfed.
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of like, why would you want to remember that? I thought babies were designed to forget that. But yeah, so I don't remember that. That's what I was worried about when it's like, what was it like? It's kind of,
no, I'm not going back there.
But yeah, so 7's like, have you started school at 7?
Yeah.
Right, so I think I'm all right. 7 is infants, isn't it?
The infants going into juniors, yeah.
Yeah, so at school, I didn't like it. I knew by that point I didn't like it.
What did you like about it? Do you remember?
The school wasn't great. It was a wreck of a school.
Right.
It's not standing now. It was falling down then, and it was always cold. I remember that. I didn't see the point in having a uniform because I always had my coat on.
Yeah.
It's like I could be wearing anything under this. Freezing, and it was really rotten school. Like, if you got done and you did detention, it wasn't a detention, it was just you staying behind for half an hour. They'd have you doing stuff to the school because it was that much of a wreck.
Well, like home
DIY type
really?
Stuff. Yeah, I'd re-putted a window.
Did you?
Yeah, when I was about, like you say, 7, 8. Which, looking back on it, in a way, that's quite good, isn't it? Because that's something that's useful, rather than just sat in a room doing nothing.
They've got you
doing
learning
lines.
a trade. Yeah.
But it's a trade, so it was that, and I did weeding as well, weeding in the playground once.
Did you not have a caretaker?
I don't think they did, because honestly, it was such a wreck, a caretaker would have walked in and gone, fuck off, I'm not looking after this, because it was a wreck, proper wreck. And it's at that time, maybe councils were struggling then in the 70s.
Yeah.
And the walls, I just remember walls being like really damp. You could just sort of put your fingers in them. And really depressing.
Was that the general feel from out the school, like with all your mates and stuff?
Well, I suppose you don't know anything else. But again, looking back, everybody, I've got a couple of mates who still see, and they sort of go, God, it was bad there, wasn't it? It was bad.
I suppose you only know that when you've got perspective, and you go to another school and you go,
this is a bit better.
It's a bit better.
Yeah. I can take my coat off.
Not as bad as that.
There's heating.
Yeah.
So yeah, I suppose in a way you're never going to enjoy school when it's like that anyway, are you? It's not.
How can you in surroundings like that?
Yeah. What else was
Were your brother and sister at the same? Did they go to that same school? Even though they're
no,
a bit
because
older?
we moved. I think we came from another part of Manchester when they were at that age.
Right.
Like in just near what was it called? Chorlton on Medlock, which is just near the Manchester Apollo, and that's where Mum and Dad were. And then I think they were a bit slummish, the slummy area, and they wanted to clear that.
Right.
And they moved everyone out a bit to these new council estates.
What did your mum and dad do for a living, Carl?
I mean, how long have you got? My dad, but it's just my dad has done everything. To this day, I see him quite a lot, and I speak to him on Skype if I'm not nipping round. And every time I speak to him, it's like Mr. Ben. Do you know? He kind of goes, that reminds me of the time I did that. And he's kind of like, I didn't know you did that. If he did a CV, you bring it out in hardback. Honestly, he's done everything. Because he's from that time when that's what it was like.
Yeah.
You didn't need loads of qualifications. You just go from one job to another. A factory closes, you do something. So he's done the things that I remember is mainly a lot of driving stuff. Worked for the Express, some sort of transport manager style thing with the delivery of the papers to the shops. He had a courier, got a couple of vans, did courier stuff. He had a black cab. He did turfing, which I helped do that with him. Honestly, just
the
endless,
list goes on.
Yeah, loads of things that I remember him just doing.
So was he always around then, or was he going away a lot to work? Or
the memory is with my dad work. It was almost like I knew that was his role in the relationship. It's like he was earning the money. It was my mum's sort of job to look after us. And like, he did a lot of night work as well. So when you're talking about me being younger, I remember not being able to have that many mates around because it's like, your dad's in bed.
Right, yeah.
Don't be noisy.
Yeah.
Everything's sort of like...
Yeah, I used to have a mate like that. I used to go around after school and he goes, shh.
Yeah, it's a real pain in the arse. I mean, my mum used to always have the telly on watching soaps and stuff, and subtitles. Subtitles always on. I thought they were invented for kids who's like, dads work shifts. I didn't know it was for, deaf people. And that was the thing. Everything. I just remember sort of mooching about and I was like, what are you doing? Don't you? Yeah. And then it'd be my job to sort of go up and wake him up and go, and he'd always be a bit groggy and knackered. And yeah, that's my memory of him. So he was always doing that. My mum did jobs at schools, cleaner.
She didn't
work in the canteen.
Yeah.
Yeah, working in the canteen of some college. I remember being at South Trafford College in the canteen there. Shop work. That sort of stuff. A bit of extra money, something to keep her busy, but nothing that took over. It was my dad earning the main money. And then towards the end, they bought a butty shop in Sale, just near the station.
So they work together on that?
Kind of. My dad's had the black cab as well, and my dad's not that good with people, so my mum didn't really like him in the shop. If people were lingering or getting in the way and they'd sort of stand near the door eating the butty, and it's like, it's not a place you sit down and have, but take it out, you're in the way. And my mum didn't, she was like, you're not good at this. If people wanted, it's just not the sort, the niceties you've got to do in a shop.
Yeah.
Show interest in the customer and that. My dad doesn't do that, so he'd make sure there was enough bacon in, enough ham in, all that, and then my mum would right, you go and do the cab, and then pick us up later.
Yeah.
I
used to work in a newsagent when I was a kid, and some people used to come in and just sort of read the magazines.
Right.
You used to go, it's not a library.
Yeah.
Buy it and get out.
It's true. I mean, you need a bit of that, don't you?
There's a balance, though, isn't there? I suppose if you're running a shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because word spreads, you don't want to
go in there. Right, miserable sod. Yeah. And I imagine that probably, would have happened. But so yeah, they did that, and that took up a lot of time. I mean, they worked really hard. That's the thing. I mean, I think that's been ingrained in me, really.
What, a work ethic?
Yeah. From me dad, it was always like, I knew that you have to pay your way in life. It's like earn money. Don't you get nothing for now, earn money. And even from a young age, I was coming up with ways of making money. I was always working. I was never a kid who sort of stood about on a street corner, sort of up to no good.
So you'd always have a Saturday job or something?
Saturday job, paper round. To this day, love me paper round. Loved it. I loved everything about it.
Why did you love it so much?
It was early mornings. It was like out on the streets when it's quiet. There was no one there to annoy you. I had a job. I felt like I had an important responsibility that the first thing people rely on when they get up, the paper, knowing what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
I'm delivering it to them. And honestly, I used to do it at I'd be out at 4:45.
Really?
I used to wake up the fella who ran the shop. And I was like, and if I could, it meant that because I got up early, I could do an extra round if someone doesn't turn up, so I could earn a bit more money.
Yeah.
And I just loved it, listening to the radio, going round on my bike, and delivering paper. Honestly, if you went round the streets where I delivered papers and said to them now, when was a good time for when was your favourite delivery thing? They'd say the period I did. I reckon it's a golden. Do you know, people hark back? It's not like it used to be. Like we were saying, they'd say, "Oh yeah, remember the 80s when that lad used to be there for you." The ink was still wet on the paper, and I just loved it. I took pride in it. I think that's still with me as well. It's like if I do something, I'm going to be as good as I can be.
Yeah,
at it. And I was the best at. I'm not a mega confident person, but I can tell you now.
You were shit out at that.
Absolutely brilliant at it. Everyone got the paper, didn't get ripped and stuff, shoving it in a letterbox. I cared.
No
it's
dogs.
The best job. Just honestly. So, yeah, I did that. I worked in a supermarket.
Did you ever go in for a milk round? I remember when milk rounds were quite popular.
No, that never. I think I preferred the working on my own.
Yeah, because otherwise then you've got to speak to
You've
the
got to deal with this
driver,
bloke.
Yeah.
And he's annoying. He's going to be annoying.
So even back then, when you were younger, being by yourself and having your own company was very important.
Yeah, I just saw people as, at some point they're going to disappoint me.
Yeah. Did you ever think, I might disappoint them?
Maybe there's a bit of that in. What do they expect from me?
Or what do they want from me?
Yeah, I know, it's bad, isn't it?
Well, you know, there's no such thing as a free lunch.
No, I do worry about that. So I did paper round shops. I sold stuff, computer games.
What like in a shop?
No, I used to buy them with me own money for like £3 and then copy them and sell them at school.
What,
and
tape to tape?
Tape to tape.
Yeah.
And that was another, I was raking it in. Honestly, I was like a Gordon Gecko. I had so much money. In fact, it got to the point where that's what I was going to school for. I was really busy, like, just selling these games. It got really popular. Making loads of money. That ended because I did a game for a kid and then it didn't work and he said, not working. He's like, I'll have another go at copying it because he started to, I think it was getting harder and harder to copy these things.
Yeah, because the computer games company kind of got wind of it, didn't they?
And it was like, I'll do it again. And anyway, he told his mum, then his mum come in and it's kind of like, what did you tell your mum for? Because it was like his dinner money. And the head teacher sort of gave me a bollocking and I must have had about £12 on me that day. And he took all that off me. And that was all from the computer game, so I couldn't do that. But that was a good little earner. I sold fizzy drinks. My dad had a soda stream. So I used to like go into the bins, get loads of empty bottles, give them a wash, make fizzy drinks, go to school, sell them for like 25p and stuff. And it's funny because thinking back at it, I used to stand there and go, drink it then. And they'd be like, I don't want it now. It's like, I want the bottle. It was stuff like that, but I did loads of money. It was all little scams. Not even a scam, really. It's just making money. If I've got to go to school, I want to make this worthwhile.
I've got to get something for me from it.
So it was all stuff like that. Washing cars for people. It was all, like I say, that was in my head. Got to earn money, and it wasn't because I needed it. I wasn't like spending that money on anything. I just liked it growing in this white tub I had under the bed. And when a few pound coins or whatever, a few notes, it's like change that to a £5.
Yeah.
And then, it's building, change the £5s to a £10. And it was just something to look. It was almost like watching, growing a plant or something. It was just watching it get bigger. And I enjoyed, like, I suppose it made me feel like I've got a worth.
Yeah.
It's like that, I've done that. That money there, that's growing, I'm doing it. It was for no reason other than just seeing it as, I suppose, security as well. Hearing from my dad that you need money.
But it is like your dad, because your dad was doing all these
all
different jobs all the time, so you were looking up to him and doing what he was doing.
And I didn't know what I'd want to do with my life if I wasn't working. And in a way, that's what's happened later on in life with this. I thought I'd got to a point where I didn't have to work and I didn't want to work. But it's important, isn't it?
I mean, how did you... give it, it sounds like radio is this foundation upon which everything else has been built on top of that. That was
definitely.
But how do you, given, it's not like you were doing the comedy circuit for 10 years and then you catch your break. It's not like you went to drama school so that when you get that break, I've been preparing for this for years. How on earth did you cope from being an unknown guy to then? I mean, there was a time where you were like the most talked about man in the country.
I really didn't like it because it's not me. I mean, when I say I know that I'm a pessimist, I also know I'm a bit of a what's the word when you don't want any fuss and you just kind of. I always sit in a corner. I always get in a corner.
Yeah.
I mean, even now talking to you, I've crammed myself in a corner. If I go in a what's it called when you don't want?
Introvert.
Yeah, I am one of them. And I think the reason I liked radio is because it was a way of sort of getting stuff off my head, but talking to myself in a room. Through the night, there was no one about in that radio
station. You're probably working some stuff through,
just working out, chatting what's on my mind. And sometimes people laugh at stuff that I say, and I kind of go, it's not meant to be funny, actually. There's a bit of a breakdown there, but I'm glad you've found some humour in it. But I kind of that's me. It's like sometimes I feel like I've got a lot in my head, but I don't really want to mither people with it. Suzanne's
It's a great northern word that's not used in London, mither.
Is it not?
I don't think so. My gran used to say moither. She's from Lancashire, Yorkshire border, Barnoldswick. So she used to say moither, but I know it's mithered.
Right, like,
so she'd be like, I'm moithered to death.
Right, so it's like, I don't want to hassle people.
No, but the word mither should be used more. It's such a beautiful word.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't want any hassle.
Because there's even there's a DVD extra on Extras where you are filming a scene, and it's but even on that you make a point of I want to just sit in the corner. I just want to. Do you remember the bit I mean? And you even say something like, "I'm doing that thing where I'm on my phone, but I'm not really on my phone."
Yeah, on the extra. Yeah. The day of being a real life extra. Yeah, I'm not very good at. I'm not the life, and I mean, I don't go to parties because I don't like the feeling of too many people. I got a little bit better when they sent me on my travels because I had to go to a couple of sort of festivals and things like that where there's a lot of people, or a carnival in Rio, or some sort of religious thing in India. But I remember getting really stressed out because I'm not good in large crowds. If I do go to an event, I've got to be on the edges.
So that there's a metaphorical and literal escape route.
Yeah, I think it is. I just don't like all the, and it annoys me because I know like you're meant to enjoy some of these points in your life and in the year, like New Year, where it's all about you got to get together. You got to be with people and celebrate stuff together. And I sort of go, I'd rather not, thanks. And that can come across really like, oh, you miserable bastard. But it's like, no,
we are all
I'm not. I tell you what, I could come along, I could come to that party, but I'm going to hate it. And I'm going to ruin it for everyone else because they'll be going, what's up with him? Who's that moody sod in the corner there who's just like keeping himself to himself? I don't like it.
Yeah.
So I kind of wish I could. There's times when I see people. Well, I was watching Antiques Road Trip last night, and there was a woman on it just laughing all the time. Laughing at stuff that wasn't funny, but just laughing all the time. So a laugh became a bit redundant, because it's like you're just laughing at everything.
Yeah.
But Suzanne was like, no, she's happy, isn't she? I'm going, I don't know. Well, and she's going, oh, no, you're not. You're a bit miserable. I'm going, no, will you stop? It's just, I'm not like that. Is it serotonin? Or
serotonin.
Yeah. We've all got different levels of that, haven't we?
So she's just pumping it out.
They've obviously got a lot of it. And if it's genuine, if that's how much that person is laughing all the time, it's like, that must be amazing. But there's no point me coming in here going, James, because he's not real.
Yeah.
And it's tiring. I'd be so exhausted. I've got a day of this. I've got a day of interviews. So, like you said, there's no point bullshitting. There's no point me coming in, pretending I'm something I'm not. And if I walk out of here and you go, Jesus Christ, that was hard work. He's a moody man. That's the way it is. And a lot of the time I don't go to events and parties because I know I'm a bit like that and I don't want to ruin it for other people. So rather than going because I've been asked and then end up ruining it, I prefer to go, thanks and everything, but it's not really my thing. And I'm pretty sure once I'm not there, they enjoy the party. I'm not on the mind. Everyone's not at that party going, shame Karl didn't turn up. They don't give a shit that I'm there or not. So I kind of just take myself out of it. And again, it's a bit annoying for Suzanne at times because she's like, well, if you're not going, I'm not going. I said, well, I'm not making that rule.
Quite like to...
I'm not making that rule, though. You can go. But I don't want to go because I know that I'll end up annoying you anyway. So we might as well have this argument now about me not going rather than having it later about going but being a moody shit in the corner.
Yeah.
So, yeah, these times I wish I was a bit different, but I'm 47 now. And I don't think it's going to change.
But I mean, also to pick up, I'm picking someone at random. I don't know him, but if you think of like Elton John, him at a party, he's going to work the room. He's going to be laughing. He's going to be. We can't all be. You know, I can relate to what you're saying.
Do you reckon?
I reckon. All right. Well,
have you seen the film Rocket Man?
No. Is that have I picked a terrible example in Elton John?
Yeah, because he had a big do, and all on his land, on his big house, everyone's jollying it up, drinking all the booze that he's paid for. And he's sat in a room having a breakdown. It just goes to show.
I literally couldn't have picked a worse person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it just goes to show you, see, how other
Not
people
even.
see people and go, what a life and soul of... And sometimes the happiest people are the ones who go, like, have you heard about John? The happy fella? Yeah, he shot himself in the head. because he hasn't released the sort of... the fed-upness. You've got to let it out. I'm sure we all have it, but like I said, that person on Antiques Road Trip, laughing their head off, looking at antiques. It's not even like he's at a stand-up gig or something, and you go, well, I can understand why he's laughing. That's
Fair
a funny
enough.
joke.
Kevin
He's
Bridges
looking
is
at
funny.
barometers and laughing about, the way. It's just like... And I feel myself getting annoyed, and I go, this isn't healthy. I should be happy. Are we getting kicked out here, do you
I
reckon?
don't think so. But I mean, go ahead. I think that, but, sorry, go on.
No, but it's just that. It's just... it's very hard and dangerous to try and please others, and I think that's where I started when I said about writing Sick of It. There's people who probably go, oh, you should do more travel, and I kind of go, that's what you want, but it's not what I want, so maybe that fan has come to the end of the line with me, and maybe they've got to like either listen back to the old stuff that they like or find someone new. But it's very dangerous to do work or anything in life just to please others, because I think it catches up with you and you'll get caught out if you try and please others.
I mean, there's one thing I think, I can only speak for myself, but I think I speak on behalf of others. One thing a lot of us dream of is retirement, right?
Yeah.
So we think, I'll be able to retire.
Yeah.
What often happens is people reach an age where they have to retire, and then, sorry to lower the tone, but they drop dead because the work was probably the thing that was keeping them going. So I know that you a few years ago
knocked it on the head.
You'd probably thought, great, I don't have to work anymore.
Yeah, like I said, I've said in this, the money thing was always there from a young age, making money, because you need money in life so you don't have to rely on others.
So even the boy on the estate knew I've got to.
Because of that estate, it was seeing the people on that estate. There's a bloke who lived a couple of houses down called Casey, and I just saw his life just go to shit in what seemed like 3 weeks to me, but it was probably a year, 2 years, and he just didn't have any go in him. It was like, and to be honest, a lot of old school mates and stuff have gone down that route of life's hard, innit? I've just got a job I hate, but then it's all right. It's the weekend. I'm going to get leathered, and get themselves into all sorts of mess. And you just say, I knew I didn't want that.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm in it. I can see what's going on, and I definitely don't want this. So it was all like earn money. And yeah, you're right. A few years ago, I paid off the mortgage, and was like, well, that's it. That's all I've been working for, really, to do that. And I think I did 6 or 7 months of nothing.
What were you doing?
Pottering about. The things I enjoy doing now, but in between work, it was the bit of gardening, cleaning. I love cleaning.
Movies?
Yeah, gardening, cleaning. Yeah, I'd watch films, walks. But it's the stuff that you enjoy because sometimes you don't have time to do it. When that's all you've got, it's not a novelty anymore.
Sure.
It's like when you see people on that programme, Place in the Sun. They went to Benidorm once for a week. It was a brilliant holiday, so we're going to live there. It's like, it won't be the same.
No.
It's not a holiday.
No.
You're living there.
Within 6 months, you'd be like, God, I miss...
Yeah, of course. There's always... I mean, I don't think there's the perfect life anywhere. There's always a compromise, I think. But it was that thing of, I can't do it. I was driving Suzanne up the wall, just messing about with things that didn't need messing with. And she was just like, you got to go back to work.
But it can be too hard on there's some horrendous statistic about divorce rates with footballers.
Too much time.
Well, because the footballer goes from, let's say from the age of 18 to 34. Football. Doesn't even barely sees the wife because he's away at Swansea or whatever. And then he retires and they're seeing each other all the time. And it's like, fucking hell, we didn't even...
It's like Big Brother.
Didn't even know each other.
In a house with someone. Yeah, it's all about... I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Is that why this podcast is called Balance? Because it's about life. Like, it's that balance, isn't it? It's everything in life. Too much of it, it ruins it. It's not healthy. Too much of anything, whether it's... I love biscuits, but
having 2, you kind of go, oh, that was nice, but I'll stop there. You eat a full biscuit, all those biscuits you really loved, but you eat a full packet, you feel down, you feel sick. So it's just
finding that right
tricky,
balance.
yeah, and it does worry me because at the same time, when I'm working, I do have a moan as well and a bit of a breakdown. Like, I can't do this, you know. Like I said, I didn't do well in school, and writing something, it's harder for me than it is for most people who are making telly because it's harder for me to work it all out in my head. So I'm like, I can't do this. I shouldn't be doing it. I haven't got the qualifications. Someone else should be doing this who could probably do it better. And Suzanne's just like, oh, can't you always do this? You know this happens every time you get like this over work, but you love it. So just get back in and get on with it. But it is part of the thing. I do like it. I like the struggle. I mean, they sort of say it's the hard stuff in life that sort of keeps you going and a sense of achievement when you get to the end.
That's right. Yeah.
The easy stuff, yeah, it's easy, but what do you get out of that?
You weren't challenging yourself.
Nothing. So it's making sure... Again, it's a balance. I don't want to be one of those people who works all the time where you don't have time to enjoy those walks or me cleaning or, you know, doing the gardening.
Sure.
But it's nice. Balance. It's balance. Everything's balance. I've never had a plan apart from that radio show. Like I said to you, the podcast happened because Ricky came up with it. The travel stuff came about because one of Steve's mates who worked in telly sort of came up with it. I think Sick of It came about because I told Sky I didn't want to travel anymore, and they said, well, how about writing something? So I've always kind of been guided, but I'm very good at kind of going yeah or no. I never want to know how much I'd get for that thing anymore because I don't want the money to be the reason to do something.
That's right.
But I like to sort of just go, let me think about it. And then it's dangerous because the more I think about something, because I am a bit pessimistic, I can easily come, definitely. Yeah. And I always, I can feel it when I start going, and I've got to pull myself back a bit and go, well, hang on, there was something in it that I liked. So let's focus on that rather than the shit bit. So I've no idea.
I mean, with that in mind, I mean, you know, you think like the Eagles got back together, Fleetwood Mac got back together. Would you, Ricky and Steve, would you ever get the band back together?
But isn't it... When the Eagles got back together, was it any good?
I think so. They called it When Hell Freezes Over because one of them had said, would you ever get back together? And they went, yeah, when Hell Freezes Over.
I just wonder if things have changed. I mean, one of the things people liked, I think, and it's dangerous to try and work out what it is that people like about you, but I think what they liked about the radio show with Ricky and Steve was that they were sort of on the up. They're just on the office. They're like show busy. And then there's me just there to play in the adverts. And I used to get a bit scared when they were swearing. And I'm meant to be responsible for them, and I could get the sack here.
Yeah.
And I think people like that sort of
dynamic.
Dynamic, yeah. Say if we go back to it, and they can't have grown up. I can sort of hold my own a bit more, thanks to them. The stuff they put me through did change me and broaden my mind. That was Steve's aim with all the travel stuff. And I kind of feel like I think people will feel a little bit. Like, yeah, it was good. It's good to know that they're not dead, but it sort of ruined what I used to like about it. And maybe, you know, they listen back to it and it takes them back to the time when they were younger and everything. Whereas we'll be sat there talking, they'll go and see a picture of the three of us and go, Jesus, they've aged, haven't they? And suddenly, oh, so have I. And then suddenly it's not the same. I don't think everything can come back. You know, you watch Top of the Pops 2 or Top of the Pops on BBC 4 and you go, oh, it's 1988. Let's watch 1988 and you go, Jesus Christ, what a shit year for music this was. But at the time, it was good. Yeah. So, and you know, Derek B, the rapper, I used to think he was quite cool. And I hear him now and go, God, what a shit rap this is. I love the beat on the street. And you kind of go, turn it off. So sometimes you just have to leave. I saw Brother Beyond. It was shocking, this song they did. These stupid jeans on. And at the time, it was like, yeah, Brother Beyond.
They were so cool, weren't they? Yeah. They were so cool.
And it just, you look back and you can't go back. You can't always go back. And I prefer people to say, oh, it'd be brilliant if you lot got back together and did a podcast. I prefer them to keep that in their head, that would be amazing, than
the thought
if
of
we
it
did
being amazing.
Which is what I said at the start about a dream. Don't achieve your dream and that. It's the same thing. It's the same point, isn't it?
But I guess the dynamic would be different. So, like, Phil Collins used to play drums in Genesis, then becomes the lead singer. So if you...
Who am I?
You Phil Collins.
Phil Collins, just because he's got a little round bald head.
I love Phil Collins.
Yeah, all right.
What I mean is, if you did get it back, the dynamic would be different. You would hold your own more.
Yeah, but is that what people liked about it? I don't know. Who knows? It could happen because it's so easy, isn't it? It's so easy. You've just got to have a bit of time and 3 mics, and it doesn't. And it's not live. We could do it and see what it's like. But there'd be a lot of pressure on it. I imagine even going in and going, let's just see what happens. We didn't know when we started doing podcasts. We didn't know if that was going to work or not. When I did the travel stuff, I didn't know people were going to be... I just did it because it's like, oh, I'll take the money, it's on Sky. And at that point, not many people had Sky. It's like, oh, no one will see it. Great. And then suddenly it's like, shit, people are watching it.
It's one of the most successful shows in Sky's history, isn't it?
But that's what I'm saying. Suddenly you sit down, there's a different pressure. There's something there, that the past... And you're going, well, we live up to what we did. And sometimes that's why you've got to move on, because it's very hard to do something when you know something was successful.
Sure.
So, I don't know, though. I'm not going to say never, because they say you shouldn't. But he's slim, I think.
In fact, that's why that Bond movie was called Never Say Never Again, because I think Sean Connery had said never.
Oh, is that right?
I think so.
It's true. It's true. People say, go in the jungle. I'm a celebrity. I know for a fact... That's never going to happen.
Mate,
so let's get that out there.
don't do it.
It's never going to happen. So I know that. That's one cert.
Yeah. Why would you? Why would you? Because I look at Ian Wright. I love Ian Wright. And
do you know what? I haven't watched it for about 3 series.
I mean, I did an episode with Ian Wright. I'm from a single parent
fella, isn't he?
Single parent family, working class. I relate. I love him so much. He's successful, and I just think, why are you putting yourself through that?
I mean, some people say, oh, I did it because I actually want the experience. And I'm kind of like, well, it's not really real, though, is it? Go to the jungle if you want to go and have a wander. And if you get sick of it, you can go, you know what, I'm going to go home. I think it's not what I thought. But to be trapped...
And the mercy of the edit, where we can come across like a right plonker,
there's that. That's quite scary, isn't it? But I'm also a big lover of, like, insects and that, and I don't like the way... people stand on them and all that.
Sure.
I'd be walking around saying, watch where you stand. You've just done on a fucking cockroach.
You're just eating it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. So that's the main reason I could never do it. And I don't want to be stuck in a small place with,
people you might not like.
or whatever. Yeah, I've never met her. But just being trapped.
Have they repeatedly approached you, I take it then?
Yeah, ages ago, and I said no. And I think they know now. I think they, and I'm not saying I'm too good for it. It's just that situation of not my bag. But it always surprises me when people send me messages going, "Go in the jungle, go in the jungle." It's like, God, you really don't know me.
Yeah.
You think you know me, but that is never going to happen. That is not me. What makes you think that I'd want to be in there, sort of stuck? It's just, it annoys me a bit because it's like, I kind of thought, because of all the stories and thoughts and emptying my mind, that people would understand where I'm coming from. And then they go in the jungle, mate. It'll be top bants. And it's like, don't ever think I'm into any sort of bants. That is so not me. It's like, how can you have listened to all the podcasts and shows and think that I'm that kind of, it'll be a right laugh. I'd love to have a drink in a pub. Don't go in a pub. I don't go in pubs. If I do, it's lunchtime, when it's dead. Not Friday nights. It's my idea of hell.
Karaoke, yes please.
I know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Have we got to...